The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
The East is where we're from.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, shalom.
The 12 tribes of Israel.
Do us a favor, hit the like button. We're getting shadow banned here.
The Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went.
The 12 tribes of Israel. Hit the like button, brothers.
Tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us
At gunpoint.
together our wives and children and sold us.
Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Please come on in.
Belly of these
Hit the
great
button as you
ships
come
we
on in.
traveled
File in.
before.
Do we have a broadcast for you this
By
evening?
the rivers of Babylon, we found our brothers here. Gather us in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, our highest gathering Israel, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, our highest gathering Israel.
Shalom, Israel. To the Jews and also the Israelites, also to the Gentiles. Come on in. I have Elder Lawyer and many others on standby. Let's go.
Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel.
That's right, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard of the Gathered of Christ Church here with our weekly broadcast. That's right, weekly. We're live on Blog Talk as well as YouTube. First and foremost, we would like to say thanks to all you who support the work, who see us, who have been loyal viewers as well as participants in this truth through the duration of this church. I would like to say a humble shalom to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. Do we have a broadcast for you this evening? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I have Elder Lawyer on standby. Any other lawyer, any other elder out there, if you would like to come on this particular topic, please chime in. Please chime in. All right. And yes, all praises be to the Most High, Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya Warawak, which is the God of Israel, in the name of Christ through the Holy Spirit. We'd like to thank the heavens for protecting us through such a time as this, days of tribulation. And yes. Okay, yeah. So yes, I see everything is good. The sound is good. All right. We're going to jump right in. Thank the Most High for allowing us to be here before you. And yes, we do have Hebrew and Bible Academy this coming Sunday. I think we're going into week 8. And the lesson will be portals, the gateways between heaven and earth. The earth. That's right, brothers and sisters. There's a celestial realm and a terrestrial realm, a realm we can see, and that's right, a celestial realm we cannot see. Okay, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers. Well, how do these principalities and powers travel? How do they go in and out of the earth? That's right. And how do they interact with people? Keep in mind, there's a dark side and a light side of the force. All right. But there's only, that's right, the original gates that was created from the beginning, in which the celestial come from the outside realms into our realm to guide or to deceive us. So this coming Sunday, for the first time we're going to have 2 to 3 hours just focusing on gateways, whether or not they're stargates. What about some of the pyramids? Is that connected to things that they have been hiding for years? What about what's going on with Area 51 and these mountainous terrains? Yeah, it's always from the mountain. And okay, usually it's from the mountains where there's interactions with gateways. And we're going to be talking about this coming Sunday. Keep in mind, it was our God from the Holy of Holies, the God of all gods at Mount Sinai, giving us the law. So that's an actual connection point between God's people and us. And the outside forces know it. They know there's gates in the earth. That's right, gateways invisible that the celestial and spirits travel through. Okay. Now, the difference between what's going on the lower level amongst our terrestrial realm is that the powers that be who are trapped here can only travel within the realm they're allocated to. Okay. But our God, the angels who protect us, that's right, are not subjected to time or space. All right. They can also travel through these same gates, but without restriction. All right. So I'm going to be going into the levels of and all that. And Elder Lawyer helped put together a great lesson. When you look at the word gate all through the scriptures, it's on higher levels that we'll be discussing this coming Sunday. Gateways. That's right. Portals. The gates between heaven and earth, for the first time taught in this academy. And this is why you have your Area 51s and your NASA and all these things. What they're not telling you, folks, is that all these constructs are constructed by the fallen, and they travel in the earth, set up politicians and others and militaries to make servants of God's people. We're going to be talking about that and more this coming Sunday. Now, without any further ado, y'all came for the topic, so let's go right in. Let's go right in. All right. Now, even though we're at week 8 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, for those who are interested, we're now taking enrollments for the next academy, which will start about a month from now. All right. So no sense in you getting into the whole academy. And then what happens? we have to send you all of the weeks you've missed, right? And you'll only have 1 month of real live interaction with us, going through the records and all that and teaching you every Sunday. So if you're interested in the academy, just enroll. We won't miss anything. This particular lesson that I'm talking about will be discussed in the next academy also. So you just go to historytimes.org and you'll have a fresh 12 weeks beginning in about a month from now. So we are open enrollments for the next academy. So don't worry about it. You won't miss some of the new details that we have delved into for this one, okay? So we're going to be going into portals, the gates between heaven and earth, this coming Sunday. And the following Sunday, week 9, we'll be breaking down the Ark of the Covenant, the greatest weapon known to mankind. That's right, the Ark of the Covenant. That's right. The Most High led us out of Egypt, and he told Moses to have the Levites, the sons of Aaron, carry the Ark of the Covenant. You're going to find out that the enemies have lied to you. The Ark of the Covenant isn't in Ethiopia. You can't find it in America. It's hidden, and we know exactly where it is according to scriptures. And guess what? No man can touch it. It's sealed and protected behind a gate. The geographical location is clear. It's in scripture. And we're going to be talking about that and more in week 9. The Hebrew Bible Academy have taken on a life of its own, and it's just growing with knowledge. And I'm so glad and humbled to be a part of what the Most High is doing, bringing serious understanding to God's people in the last days through the gathering of Christ's church. Now let's jump right in. Current viewers right here is all right. I need you all to do me a favor. Hit the like button real quick. And I'm not going to ask y'all too many times in between. I'm just doing it real quick to get it out of the way so that I don't have to, ask you in between. As you come in, please hit the like button. Okay. We're under a shadow ban. And after the broadcast, make sure YouTube, they have bots operating now. And sometimes the bots unsubscribe people. Okay. Where even if you would like the notices or the updates or the notifications, sometimes these bots, it's all mechanical now, and goes in and unsubscribe members who they think haven't been frequenting the channel enough. So it's on an algorithm that automatically sometimes unsubscribe people. So if that happened to you, don't worry about it. Just make sure you check on a daily basis that you're still subscribed to the channel, because a lot of this information that you can receive here to give you the real insight of what's going on, hey, you want to get the notifications and be in the know, because we're going to give an angle, a perspective according to the scriptures that you're not going to get any place else. Now, let's all go in now. You see the topic. That's right, a lack of bread while the world watched will. While the world watched will, that's right, a lack of bread. Now, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Every news circulation. I mean, YouTube has been inundated with opinions on Will Smith and Chris Rock, right? There's so many levels and narratives to this particular story. I mean, it's such a story. It's such news that can be utilized at this particular time for whatever the powers that shouldn't be think it should be used for, right? There's so many levels here. Oscars, Will, Chris Rock, to the degree where, you know what? It's so important, brothers and sisters, that it can take a whole war, as they claim, off of the front pages, off of the front lines, off of the headlines of all news articles. It's so imperative that we chime in on what's going on here. That the media would actually shift. All the editing rooms and the writers and the producers shifted midstream and say, Hades to the war. Hades to the war. There's some real news going on. You know what? Brothers and sisters, I thought about this. I thought about it to a degree that when it first happened, I had a side or an opinion, right? And then it all began to come to light. It all became clear to me. The Bible teaches us that a nation divided against itself cannot stand. Right? You take a polarizing family that on one side, a very likable A-list actor from Philadelphia, very likable. So automatically those who from Philadelphia and like Will Smith will take his side, right? He's a man, right? And then you would look at it like, well, okay, from every angle, there's not a person out there in the earth, brothers and sisters, who will not have an opinion on this. Because there's so many dynamics, a family, husband, wife, children. Then there's the polarizations of how their relationships and dynamics of their relationships are out there. That relationship. Will Smith, a likable actor, right? Jada Pinkett. Now, from a man, you have a man sit back and say, well, listen, he's being emasculated. And then it's a man. A man should stand up for his wife, right? Okay, Gabar, I seen you. A man should stand up for his wife. And then it's other women on the other side. About time a man stood up for his woman. Right? That angle, the family angle. Alopecia. Well, she's suffering from hair loss. And many women who have suffered and understand what that means, they take a side, right? Man-woman dynamic. All of these things are happening right now. And it's convenient for the news circulations to take all of the real news off of the table because what? They've found something in which every person has something to say on it. Right? Everyone has something to say. What a convenient storyline in a time in which, brothers and sisters, your life, all of our lives are changing right in front of us. What an convenient storyline right now. It has so many angles. But why should we care? Why should we care? Why? And this is how divisive and how carefully crafted these narratives are, brothers and sisters. Table talk at the red table. A wife talking about her infidelities or no infidelities, depending on the arrangement the marriage has. The fact that the world knows about something that happened with her dealing with her son's friend and all this other weirdness. And then you have her son being raised, walking down the street with a dress on. But that wasn't news. Raising their children under this under this Hollywood dysfunctional environment. That's not news. Her daughter being raised, if y'all don't know, it's the boy at the top, and it's the girl Willow, their daughter, at the bottom. Now, I pray for all of them, but I can understand how divisive this story is. You know why it's divisive? This is why, brothers and sisters. In the earth, there's no standard for right or wrong. There's no standard. So everyone can have an opinion and stand on that opinion based on what part of this story they can more so relate to or agree with. But it's all wrong. It's all wrong. Let me show you where I'm going here. How is it now that we're talking about what? A moral good and standing up for who you love. Right? Just standing up for the chivalry of standing up. When the whole Hollywood thing that we have watched have helped totally degrade and harm our people when it comes to an optic of looking up to people we respect to show us what traditional, loving, God-fearing family looks like. There's no way any of us can wrap our heads around this and say right or wrong or whatever the case is, because Hollywood is a world within itself that no one could figure out. Their dynamic and how they live and how they operate, none of us can relate to, because it's evil. It's wicked. So there is no standing on either side of evil. It doesn't matter the justification. It doesn't matter the justification. It's evil. The whole thing is evil. That's first and foremost. So I had to watch it because I was looking at it and say, you know what? This is a successful man that should not have been emasculated before the world. A provider who take care of his family. You know what? Those were the first thoughts that came to my mind when I seen this. What an embarrassment to have a woman who would be out there shaming and doing all these things and talking and all that when she has a provider man. Right? That's what initially, that's the thing that came to my mind. But you know what another thing came to my mind? We don't know what this woman had to hold and deal with an A-list star. Who knows allegedly where the bodies are buried and the things she know that she had to hide, that whatever, because that's Hollywood. Of course she had to be able to hold a lot of secrets and all that, being with someone with that level of popularity. So I'm like, I can't make an assessment on that. I can tell by the product they produce, which are their family. I can tell by that what? Christ is needed. The Bible is needed. That a moral line concerning family could be advantageous for all of us, including them. That's right. A lack of bread while the world watched will. Why the world watched will. And look at the guy everyone is feeling sorry for. Chris Rock. In a gold wig. Oh yeah, they've known each other for a long time, since back Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And let me tell you, no one knew what was going on with Chris Rock until this happened. And guess what? You cannot afford the price of Chris Rock's tickets for his next tour now. Right? So we need to stop arguing on every side of this, because none of us understand the world these two guys live in, and neither do you want to understand it. You don't understand what type of sacrifice, some dark sacrifice that must happen for Will Smith to be only a few steps walk away from the Oscar stage to be able to slap Chris Brown. Okay? You don't know how much sacrifice Chris Brown had to do on the dark side to be able to host and stand there on stage to host the Oscars. They're in an entirely different world that none of us can understand. The only thing we can judge is the moral line that should be set according to God when it comes to the example of a righteous, traditional family. And in a nutshell, I can say, in a nutshell, what they presented or produced is harmful within our society. So there is no right. There is no taking sides. It's a convenient, divisive media spin that can take the real news off of, that's right, off of the news circulations. Gas prices, petrol prices, upward $6, going up and up. And even Trump said if this guy is president, that the gas prices would be $7 a gallon before there was an Ukrainian-Russian war. So it's convenient to blame the Ukraine-Russian war. Right? It's convenient. On top of that, I've never in my life heard of snow squabbles or snow squabs on major roads, and I've been driving since I was an early teenager. I've never seen something on the road that says snow squabbles. Snow squabbles. While we're looking at so-called Will and Jada, have you noticed the weather? Even if you were to deal with the calculations of what they call spring, have you ever felt this much winter at the end of March? At a time in which most farmers should be planting crops? Weather warfare. Have any of us heard what Joe Biden said to the world a couple of days ago and how that's going to affect our families? And you know what? It's going to lead to straight bedlam, crime, and death amongst the populations who cannot afford food. Dog eat dog. The so-called virus for the last 2 years were just a precursor. It was just a beta test, and many died in that, setting the infrastructure for the next phase, which is lack of bread. And the real slap in the face, you know how they do it with their lesser magic. You know how they do it. They have to let you know what they're going to do before it's done. The real slap in the face are unassuming citizens of the earth, people who want right for their family. We're getting the slap in the face. The highest level of disrespect to a degree, because it was the old chivalrous way under the old Mason and York, Scottish and York rite, that if you slap someone in the face with a glove, that's right, it leads to a duel to the death. A duel to the death. The real slap is on us. Not realizing that none of what happens in Hollywood should have any of us on any side standing for it. Okay? We shouldn't stand on whether or not Will is right or Jada is right, because we have to look at what they've produced. And they haven't earned anything for us to take sides. We must focus on what's going on in the earth while they have everyone, that's right, making an opinion, at the same time seeking to destroy everyone. And I'm like, what a perfect story to distract brothers and sisters from the death we are about to witness. The mayhem. I mean, the men on one side saying, well, hold up, man. Black on black crime. You shouldn't be striking a black man of substance and the example of a successful black man. So the successful people are standing up saying it's wrong. Then men in general are saying, well, hold up. She don't deserve protection. So many levels. I know this. I know this for sure. And this is how you know how divisive that was. If there was a white woman married to Tom Cruise with alopecia or bald cancer, hair with bald cancer, Chris Rock would have known not to say anything. He would have understood that was off limits. But we're always what? The butt of the joke, the man or the woman. And that's the whole point of them putting this up forefront before you all. All of us as a family are low-hanging fruit without protection. So we all need the Most High. So does Will, Jada, and her family. We're always the butt of the joke. Because he know that he couldn't have said that about a white woman without losing everything. So then there's a side where people hate Chris Rock now. But both of these men, Will and Chris Rock, is supposed to be the image of God. That's right, the men of Judah, setting the standard for the earth. And they're using two black men to divide us all in a conversation that means nothing, because at the end of the day, the powers that be are seeking to destroy all of us, including Chris Rock and including Will Smith. So I'm better with focusing on what news they snuck right up under our noses while the world was watching Will. And if anything, that's right, you know how they do it, folks. They show their lesser magic by letting you know what's coming next. You remember Will Smith, I, Robot, I Am Legend, where he couldn't escape from the city. I think he was like some biologist, some high disease epidemiologist for the military, where he couldn't get over the bridge. They had to scan his eye for him to get over, and the whole earth and all the people that were stuck in the city turned to dark zombies that could not come outside during the day. Remember all that? That's the lesser magic to let you know. That's right. The stage we're going into with what? Once society in these big metropolitan cities has been dismantled. I'm going to tell you, folks. Some people say it was staged. Some people say it wasn't staged. And you know what? That's divisive too, I noticed. It doesn't matter if it's staged. It doesn't matter. The optics are out there. The division is out there. The conversation has overshadowed what we should be looking at according to God. Understand this. I'm not on the side to think that it was faked. I believe people have issues, whether you're in Hollywood or not. And sometimes when the camera's running, we understand what the issues are. People fight. People have disagreements. It doesn't matter. I'm just checking out what they're using it for. Okay? And it works in all of their favor. Okay? Right now, Jada Pinkett is what? The world's darling. For the first time in the history of the world, a black woman is being protected publicly, right? Even with the fear of Will losing everything. What chivalry. So this moves her to another degree of books and movies and interviews and all. Y'all don't know how Hollywood works, folks. None of them loses with this. And who cares about the Oscars? Everyone now, because that's an forgotten relic. It's an old artifact, the Oscars are, until something happens like this. So they benefit, but we lose. Let me show you what, and I'm going to say we, I'm just throwing myself in it for the sake of conversation this evening. And I'm going to open it up because we're going to show you what the real masters over these guys were planning while the whole earth was watching Will. See, and this is what I like to do. I always like to give it a biblical perspective. I always like to deal with it that way because the Bible is absolute when it comes to right and wrong. What to defend and what not to defend. What to take a side on and what not to take a side on. And based on the immorality that we've witnessed when it comes to those types of relationships and Hollywood and the weird children that comes from it, we ought to say it's all wrong. It doesn't matter what happened. Agreeing with either side is wrong because of what they have produced. Are these people an asset to society that are going to help the next generation of children? Or is it progressing the liberal movement that's destroying our communities? And I'm speaking of the children that's produced from that. It's all wrong. That's why I love the biblical perspective, because if we look at it from a worldly standpoint, we'll take a side with those who are immoral. That free love, free sex, promiscuity, the evil life. We'll begin to take sides with sinners. And that's what the Most High is looking at. Who's going to check this out? Because you can get caught up. We can get caught up taking sides with Kanye when he knew what he was who he was getting in bed with before he got in bed with her. When Christ is crying and from the heavens and just stating, repent, repent, repent. He don't care about these little idols down here. So what was actually going on before I bring Lawyer in, and I know Elder Gabar is waiting in the wings also. Let me pull it up real quick. 1 second. One moment. Let's find out a few things here. 1 second. Let me pull this up. One moment.
What could the father have...
Now let's examine what all of us should have been paying attention to during the slap. And I have Elder Lawyer on standby. Elder Lawyer, you can definitely chime in on this if you would like, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. One moment. Yeah. Also, Kakum Shakur, Lamont, I need you to call in tonight because I have to write down your number or put it in my phone because the paper I put it on, I don't know. So Kakum Shakur, Lamont, the brother that called in who was with the church from the beginning, please call in tonight so I can get your number, please. While the world watched Will. How many years have we been talking about this? What is Joe Biden saying? While the world was watching Will.
With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just to give you one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which has.
So did you know there was a summit called the G7 where the elite of the earth come together to discuss the future for all Earth's citizens? So he said, first of all, food shortages. So let's see what the G7's solutions are, for food shortages. Now, you can't claim it's because of the Ukraine-Russian war. Because we noticed we noticed the shelves lacking the last 2 years under the so-called virus. And we were told because of the lack of employees, the shelves weren't being stocked appropriately, or the trucks weren't bringing the goods to the stores and the markets within a reasonable time. We were told it was because of the virus. So don't try to claim it's because of Ukraine, because a lot of products never came back. So this scarcity that we're witnessing in the supermarkets always existed. And I'm going to tell you, for the last couple of years, we've been telling people to prepare, get food. For the last couple of years, we've been telling you. But now they want everyone to do what? Get your groceries through Instacart or whatever Uber Eats or whatever crap they got out there, so that we can't witness what's really going on in the supermarkets.
Regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia; it's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example. Just give one example.
For wheat, he says, for wheat. As an example, wheat. Remember that, folks. We need grain to make bread.
But we had a long discussion in the G7 with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. In addition to that,
you heard what he said? They discussed how they could rapidly inseminate more food shortages. They wasn't speaking of a solution for the food shortages. See, Joe Biden is getting up in age, and sometimes he has a slip of the tongue. It happens when you're up there in age. So I'm sure those at the G7 feel a little bit uncomfortable with Joe Biden putting out there. Hold up for me, Gaja. Putting out the plans that the G7 has to speed up, to make rapid more food shortages. You don't believe me? Listen again what they planned at the G7 while you are watching Will.
With both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. And in addition,
how we can do what? Increase and inseminate more food shortages. That's how you know this isn't a slip of the tongue. Using words like how we can inseminate more food shortages. So at the G7, they were planning on coming up with more reasons to give the populations of the earth that they are control over, give them more reasons to why there's a lack of food coming to our cupboards. It was one thing the last 2 years, and now it's the Ukraine war that they're claiming is the reason now that you and I will not be able to feed our families. On top of that, They're blaming the high gas prices, which is really destroying the dollar altogether in value. Because all the products you get, all the food we eat, it so happens, that's right, you have to put gas or petrol in the vehicles to get the products to us. If the gas go up, all the products the trucks are carrying goes up, devaluing the dollar altogether. Now this ain't news tonight, right? Because I got to go into a lot of this in the academy. But let me talk about this real quick. Right? Let me talk about this real quick, and I'll handle it more this Sunday. The future of money pivots this Friday as Putin sets deadline for dropping the dollar, requiring rubles for energy exports. So you think the gas prices are high now. Wait till you cannot get no products from Russia, but through something tangible. If you drop the dollar, it devalues the dollar. So what are they doing? Right? So what are they doing? Oh, yeah, excuse me. Yeah, let me make it clear. He said disseminate, not inseminate. He said disseminate, excuse me. He said that they're going to find ways to disseminate more food shortages. Okay. Now, I need y'all to check this out. The future of money pivots this Friday as Putin sets deadline for dropping the dollar, requiring rubles for energy exports. While we were watching Will, as if they care about Will and Jada. Regardless of what you think about Putin's morals or ethics, he is a genius strategist whose intellect is vastly superior. Well, he's making an opinion on that president opposed to the one of the United States that people voted in. If they believe that if they believe you actually vote in two people that the powers that shouldn't be places before you. Beginning this Friday, Russia will only accept rubles, gold, or Bitcoin as payment for energy exports to unfriendly. I need you to hold tight, because every time you send something, every time you send something, there's a noise going on that distracts me. So hold on for that, Gaj. I'll get what you're bringing. One moment. Beginning this Friday, Russia will only accept rubles, gold, Bitcoin as payment for energy exports to unfriendly countries. No dollars or euros will be accepted. And why should Putin accept dollars or euros anyway? Given that the Western financial system has told Putin he can no longer use dollars or euros to purchase anything. Huh? Now either side, be it Russia, Ukraine, or the United States, would only give you what? Their side. But altogether, they're working together to bring forth a new world order. A new world order. Biden said out of his own mouth that there's a large percentage of wheat that America in the Western world depends on coming from Russia. Well, if that's the case, why would you be at odds with them, knowing that it will starve your own citizens? Think about that. Think about that. You care about Ukraine to the degree where you'll drive gas prices and starve your own citizens who so-called, quote unquote, voted you in? Does that make any sense, folks? that you would sacrifice your own people and squeeze your own people because of Russia and Ukraine conflict. Does that make any sense? But you know what it is? An convenient excuse to do what they're planning to do. Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen. Babylon the Great. And what did Biden say? That he must bring in a liberal new world order? Huh? What did he say?
I predict a historic event in 2022 will...
Okay, let's hear what Biden has to say. The future of the world. The future of the world, according to Biden.
We are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order. And
we have established a liberal world order. When you look at the liberal world order, folks, it's pushing liberality, evil against the principles within the Holy Bible. It's against the Bible's principles. That's what liberalism is. So he said a liberal new world order. Liberal is what you're seeing being pushed on our people. It's what's allowing the world to redefine what a woman is, what a man is. Okay? Cross-sectional and all those things. And now Biden has a woman in position for the Supreme Court. Lord have mercy. Who can't even define what a woman is, being the first black woman to be nominated for the Supreme Court, but yet she cannot define woman.
As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. And we've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway,
we have to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. That's right, folks. So if he's going to push a liberal world order, this type of war can only work but so much. But this type of war on the minds and future of our children does what they cannot do with that type of war. The liberal life of raising your children to choose whatever they would like to be is part of the new world order that will destroy society. So we can't just be looking at the slap. We have to also more so be focusing on the controllers of those who've introduced the stage to slaves. The real controllers who have introduced the stage to slaves. Elder Lawyer, let's get Second Esdras, and I'm going to turn it over to you. I know I have Elder Gabar on and Gaja, I'm going to pull up a few things that if you want to come in, Gaja, for a little bit, I'll pull you in too. That's fine. But there was a lot of noise going on in my head with the message that was being sent. Hold on. So, Elder Lawyer, let's see what God has to say. The real slap in the face, Lawyer, if you may. The real slap in the face is the misdirection while they place a new world order and a liberal world order. Weather warfare, making it where on the East Coast we're getting storms of winter that will actually slow up the growth or planting of foods on the East Coast. We all know what's going on with the weather. That you never felt weather like this at the end of March. Weather warfare. On top of that, while the world was watching Will, the president said right off, y'all better prepare for food shortages. And if he says it, know that the controllers have given him the teleprompter, have given him the words to warn the people. And it's a shame that people might start to listen now because he said it. When God been told us, we've been warning people to stock up, get things together, turn what you have into something tangible so you can grow your own food in time of need. Read it real quick, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse number 19.
Yes.
A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
Read that again, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. 2 Ezra 15, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but they shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
Hold up, Elder Lawyer. I need y'all to check that out. They know that what they're doing in Ukraine, what happened with the virus, the high, gas prices, they stand eventually that the poor is going to Going to be fighting in the streets for the sake of survival. God said this in 2 Esdras. Read it again, Elder Lawyer.
2 Ezra 15, verse number 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
A man shall have no pity. Shall have no pity, what?
Upon his neighbor.
Upon his neighbor. And that's why we have to watch with these little stories that are divisive and moving us on either side, these little petty arguments. Because when it comes down, we're not going to ask what the argument was about. The fact that the friction was there is going to allow people to deem other people that they'll need as enemies. See? They just need you to be divided on either side. They don't care if it's Will, Jada, the children. They don't care what it is. But as long as it leads to you not understanding a person you're going to need in time of trouble. That's going to be the person, if you have the high ground, physically or otherwise, that you'll predatorize and destroy when there's a lack of bread. Read on.
A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword.
Shall destroy their houses with the sword, which is the modern day gun. The strong shall survive, the survival of the fittest. And when you have a lack of bread, those who have the guns rule the bread. Rules the bread. And I'm going to tell you, folks, it's going to be crazy. I see how they've done this. During the corona thing and all that, they opened up OnlyFans where these women now don't have to depend on man because they can have all these men putting money in their bank account. But there's no protector when the internet goes off. So that goes into ravishing young women knowing exactly where they are. A lot of you think you're just meeting up with people for the first time and you're just hooking up and all that. When the lights go out, they're going to know exactly where you are. And it's not going to be a swipe left or swipe right. They're coming directly to you. Because what's not out there in the hookup culture, Elder Lawyer, is when people hook up and then you find out you don't really want to you don't like the person like that because they're not what you thought they were behind the filters and all that. Or a woman may see a guy and be like, well, no, he's creepy. We don't know how many of those go down. Where he'd be like, well, I'm cool. Well, that creep know where to find you now. Okay? So it's not like every time you swipe, people get together and all that old other stuff, but they're taking inventory. Come to find out on your iPhones and all that, there's trackers in place where people can find you at any time. It's going to be straight chaos. Because we don't realize that this is not a time to be divisive. This is not a time that you can doubt the person that you're going to have to depend on. It's not that time. And if you don't have nobody to depend on, this is the time to figure it out, especially a lot of you sisters. I'm going to tell you that right now because they're leaving. They want this independent. I can do all, and they're putting money in your bank accounts and doing all that so that you'll have no protection when they pull the plug. And the Bible tell you with the lack of bread, hey, women are going to be selling themselves outright strictly for a meal. To get a meal, women are going to be selling themselves. And this is what's going on. Why? When? While everyone is looking at Will. Finish reading that, and I'm going to bring Elder Gabar in, because I think he's chiming in on me now. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
For what?
Because of the lack of bread and great tribulation.
For the lack of bread and great tribulation. The pressure that comes with an economy that's collapsing. Right now, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, hey, people are going to be just trying to get with someone just to get what? A full tank of gas. If that haven't started already. And while you were watching Will, one thing about Will and Jada with that Holly Weird thing, they have generational wealth that's preparing them for what's coming. They're in the know. Okay? They're playing the game. They don't have to worry about to some degree, even though they'll be dealt with later. The lack of bread is nothing they have to worry about. As a matter of fact, all of them revived all of their careers just with one slap. So a lot of what we're talking about, they don't really have to deal with what we have to go through. Okay? If they wanted to, they can buy them a whole field and just buy their own petrol, oil. A matter of fact, a lot of the places they have, don't you know Jay-Z has his own island? You think he care about gas prices? So we have to stop vicariously living through these people taking sides on either side as if we understand what their lives are. The immoral lives controlled through Illuminati. Read that last part again, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
And for great tribulation. Yes, and I heard someone says about Kevin Samuels had something to say on it. And one thing that was highlighted in what he said is all of this makes the image of our people, the black man, Doesn't matter whether or not it was rigged and all that. It totally soils our image. He was right with that. But the whole thing is that's still only dealing with a perspective from one side, which can appear eventually to be divisive. Because we're dealing with this on a relationship level, not realizing what the media is using this for. The media is using this to take off the news circulations what all of us should be really focusing on.
Right.
You understand? Who cares? You know how many times growing up in North Philly, I've seen somebody get slapped up or there's a fight on every corner. This isn't news. Oh man, I mean, man, he punked Chris and didn't, man, he knew that he's 100 pounds bigger than Chris. So there's a big guy he's on the other side compared to the smaller guy. It's divisive on every level, but the point I'm making is you should have seen the laws being passed. The report that you're not going to have any food in supermarkets, and if you don't decide to do what they want you to do, you will not be able to get food. They're going to, when it comes to the scarcity of the supermarkets, they're going to say because there's such supply of food, only those who've complied or will comply can eat. And it's going to be levels of that. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to food, the poorest is the last on the food chain. So that means whatever scraps are left is what we're fighting over. Finish reading of the lawyer, and then I'll parlay it to you.
Yes, sir. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
And for great tribulation. What you have to say, Elder Lawyer?
Man, where do you start? I think you hit on so many various points that I think needed to be touched on this topic. Going back to the various narratives that have sprung out of this event that took place, which, as you mentioned, whether it was staged or not, is not even a conversation. That shouldn't even be part of, because even that now goes into the whole thing of, was it staged? And you get a group over here, he didn't really hit him on the face. He hit him here, and it was staged because of this, that, and the third. You got that crew over there. And then others, for those who see it as an organic event that took place, they're on another side. And again, we're talking about something and discussing something that really is very small in the big scheme of things, or what's taking place on the world stage. So I want to read a scripture real quick in relation to these types of events in general. And this is a scripture I often read when it comes up to events, world events that are taking place, or anything that's put before you as something for you to digest for the moment, something that is used to take your eyes off the prize, or to switch narratives, one story to the next, just constantly switching the narrative to the point where you're confused as to what to be concerned with or what to focus on. And that scripture is the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 7, verse 8, where it says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Again, the key point is the first point where it says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. A lot of times what happens when these events take place, like what we saw at the Oscars, what people try to do is they try to be the first person to report and give a response and do a video on that particular event and give a take on a narrative. And that's not to say that their perspective is wrong. Whether you're going to look at it from the family aspect, if you want to discuss the family narrative, the Smith family and the weird things that and the various elements that we've heard over the years and the rumors we've heard over the years that relate to that family and just the weird nature of how things operate within that family structure. People are going to take that side, people are going to come with that particular perspective off the back of this event. And some of the points they're going to bring forward are not going to be wrong. They're going to be some true points. Others will go into other aspects of the event as a means of being the first to report upon it or the first to give their perspective on it. And again, they may be right in some of their perspectives. However, it is always best to sit back and watch things kind of progress and see what things spring up as a result of this new narrative that has come up. And on top of that, what are they not talking about while this new narrative have taken form and have become the top of everyone's conversation, and everyone has to talk about this new thing that's being presented to us and fed to us and told that this is the thing we must focus on. What are we not being told? What is being reported in the news that we did not see, or something we may have saw, but we got distracted because a day after big news was reported, or a few days after some big news was reported that's going to affect the whole world, we were distracted with the new narrative. And this is something that has been going on for the past, the reality is that it's been going on ever since this place has been constructed. But over the past few years, we've seen it very heavily that they've been wagging the dog and feeding us one narrative to the next from the pandemic. The pandemic, a few years went by, all of a sudden no longer exists. Now it's all about the war. Now it's all about stand with Ukraine, support Ukraine, support Ukraine. A little bit of a halt has been placed on that with this new narrative of this whole Hollywood, Oscar, Will Smith versus Chris Rock versus such and such and so on. So this has become the new thing that we're focused on. At the same time, as you've showed, we're being told to prepare for food shortages. A day before, I believe a day before or a few days before the Oscar thing took place, Will Smith, Chris Rock, Biden was talking about what? Putin must be removed, or this man can no longer remain in power, which is basically talking about what? Regime change. These are the conversations that are taking place on a world stage that people are not focusing on, or people don't care to focus on because they have the new toy that's been put in front of them that they ought to play with for the next week or so, while the world is drastically changing around them. And this one more thing I wanted to read on this the liberal aspect of things, with the liberal New World Order that was spoken of.
Okay. Or
that you mentioned a little earlier before I pass it on.
Great.
And you can elaborate on this. This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse number 5. This is concerning those who refer to themselves as liberal. It says here, the vile person shall no longer or no more be called liberal, nor the curl said to be bountiful. I'll read that again, Isaiah 32, verse 5. The vile person shall be no more called liberal. So you have these people who refer to themselves as liberal. The word liberal going back to liberty, which means what? Freedom. Okay? And usually when we hear liberal or liberty, we associate that with freedom, justice, and equality. So those people who we know politically who refer to themselves as liberals are usually Democrats. They call themselves liberal, as if they are propagating peace, love, freedom, justice, and equality throughout the four corners of the earth. But the Bible says that the vile person shall no longer be called liberal. The reality is that these people are not about freedom, love, justice, and equality over the earth. These people are vile. As the woman you have been covering the past week, who is up for the Supreme Court of Justice role, being asked the question of what is a woman and not being able to define a woman, yet she's supposed to be the first woman or the first Black woman on the Supreme Court of Justice, but cannot define what that is or what she is or what the gender is. These are vile people, according to the Bible, referring to themselves as liberal. Joe Biden, talking about there needs to be regime change in Russia, getting into the business. And again, we know a lot of this stuff on a world stage. A lot of these things are not what is being portrayed, in the media, but nonetheless, just going along on the surface with the narratives, talking about there needs to be regime change and that there needs to be justice in Ukraine. Yet there's no justice here in America for the people who have been here, who have been slaughtered, the people who have been enslaved, the people who have been lied to, the people who have been kidnapped from their country, who have been suffering under this particular country for over 400 years. There's no justice for those particular people, but yet all of our attention must now, because the new narrative says so, must go to Ukraine, as if they truly care about the Ukraine, as if they truly care about justice for other people, or justice, freedom, and equality being enacted throughout the four corners of the earth. The Bible says that these people who call themselves liberal, it will be exposed that they are truly vile. Jumping down, last point, verse number 6. For the vile person will speak villainly. And that's what we're seeing. The people who have referred to themselves as liberal, the people who have claimed they're about freedom, justice, and equality, now we're starting to see their true colors. They're starting to come out and say what it is they truly stand for. As you mentioned earlier, you saw Joe Biden with the slip of the tongue stating that they're seeking to disseminate food shortages. Okay? Now you're starting to see exactly what these people truly stand for. For the vile people, or the vile person, will speak villainly, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy. And that's exactly what we're seeing in the earth today. And to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirst to fail. So that's pretty much it. There's many other angles we can take on this, but I'll leave it there and open up for the next elder to come in.
Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna bring Gaja in because he have a lot of going on here. So I'm gonna bring him in, then I'm gonna bring in Elder Gabar. Let me say this real quick, right? Let me say this. You notice that this sister who's married to this guy who was, who is related to one of the old speakers of the House that was dealing with the progressive evil that was moved through the Obama administration. This woman, Ketanji Jackson, who has nothing to do with our people, who doesn't represent anything good. The only time she was pulled out for years, to judge over a matter, usually was to let out, this is not allegedly, the majority of cases that she adjudicated over. When it came to child pornography, the predators got what? The minimal sentence for that particular crime when she overseen that, when she was the overseer of the courts concerning child pornography. She was getting hammered when they asked her, can you define a woman? Her answer, this black woman, well, I'm not a biologist. Can you imagine if she cannot define woman in fear of what a woman is? In fear of these people who are controlling and running things, who might be intersectional and all that? Can you imagine if she can't define what a woman, who women are, what decisions she'll make against our people on the Supreme Court? And all of a sudden, all that was being plastered everywhere so that we can realize who he's trying to sneak on the Supreme Court to destroy what's left of any values within, when it comes to what a family is. Out of nowhere, a slap came. Out of nowhere, a slap came. When if this woman is put in position, and she will be approved, you'll realize what was really going on with this. Because the slap on us, the slap against us happened a long time ago before Will. Because Jada and Will were invited to the Obama's White House years ago. And with a progressive movement, a liberal movement, to have in the public a daughter who appears sometimes as a young boy, and with a son, Jaden, who sometimes appears as a little girl. And that's the real slap in the face. Because I don't see anyone, none of those who are divided on that slap. There was no pushback when they seen these children being raised liberally, without any boundaries or order or fear of God. There was no discussion. And I believe this is more of a heinous indictment on what's going on up there at that red table than this. There's no fear of God. They think this is a more heinous crime than this, our future. Hold on, let me bring in Gaja real quick, because Gaja is just off the chains right now. He says, please, bring me in. I'm like, okay, Gaja, all right. And then I'm going to bring in Elder Gabar. Hold tight, Gabar. I'm going to bring you in. So I know, 1 second. I'm not going to quote all the things you sent me, Gaja. So what I'll do, I'll let you just speak for yourself here, all right? Hold on. And see, it's time that we reshift, refocus, redirect eyes and ears on what our people really need to see and hear right now. They're just taking the floor right from up under all of us and using convenient distractions so that we don't realize how damning this administration has been against all of civilization. Hold on, let me bring in Gaja. Let me know when you're there, Gaja. I'm calling you. Okay, Gaja isn't picking up. All right. Here. 1 second. All right. Are you there, Gaja? You need to just raise your volume. Your volume is very low.
I was trying to get you on the computer just then, but I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, when you came in closer, that was fine, but there's feedback when I speak. So what you would need to do, Gaja, please, you would have to put headphones in so that I'm not feeding back while you're speaking.
Hang up and call you back. Give me 1 second.
Okay, great. All right, let's get in Elder Gabar. I'm really interested in what you have to bring, Gaja, because you was typing me a lot there. All right. And make sure you put headphones on. This way there's no feedback, Gaja. And yes, Kakam Shakur, please call me. I put your phone number on a business card that I put in my pocket, but I can't find the business card. So Kakam Shakur, Lamont, please call in. Lamont from Philadelphia, who was a part of the church initially, so that I can get with you, so that we can sit down and break bread. Elder Gabar, you're there.
Shalom, Elder. How are we doing today?
I'm well. You want to come on the video? You want to come on live, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah. I'm ready to go. You're right.
Okay, just put in your video, and so that the brothers and sisters can see you.
Did it see here? Where's the video? Okay, maybe.
Yeah, you're only audio. There's no video. Just hang up, and when I call you back, answer with video. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just do that because I don't know what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
Okay,
or right now, just hit
wait a minute.
hit the camera. Hit the camera on Skype. Hit your camera on Skype.
Now.
Yeah. 1 second, folks. I apologize.
Oh, wait a minute. Did that come out? I'm being seen.
No, you have to hit the camera.
Yeah, I'm hitting the camera. I see myself. I don't know why.
Why I don't see you.
Yeah. What? I mean, if I don't have to come on video, it's not a big deal.
Okay, go ahead. Say what you have to say. They can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Well, I think, last night we were talking about this event in the Iron Fit podcast, and I titled it "This is a display of this is called displacement aggression, it's a technical term, and when you're mad at something else but you attack something else, kind of scenario. And we discussed it back and forth and so forth, so on, but. At the end of the show last night, what I actually did, we actually prayed. I asked Bishop Mark to pray for both of them, these brothers, because I felt sad and upset and angry, and this happened. Regardless whether people take advantage, I believe this thing is real. I believe, Will Smith just collapsed and had a mental breakdown for whatever he's going through, and obviously, he's going to be okay. He's a multi-millionaire. He's going to be okay. But I just felt sad that we had to see this. I just felt upset and sad that once again, our people are in the mainstream, now with positivity, but with negativity. I just didn't like the way it felt. So, but absolutely, but going back to the bigger picture, what's going on overseas and what's going on with this food shortage, which is clearly much more important. Absolutely, I think the powers that be, regardless whether this thing is whether some things happen organically or planned, they use these things to distract the populace from real news or stuff that's going to affect them. So I think this particular conversation in regard to what's going on, people have to kind of look at this, because let's analyze this, right? Biden said that us doing these restrictions in Russia is going to affect gas prices and food prices.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, in the United States, we have empty farms. We are paying farms not to farm. I think they get I think all they allowed to farm is corn. Because you get a petrol oil out of, you use some corn for that. And that's it. There's a lot of farming space in America. We could feed ourselves. We don't have to go outside of America. During Donald Trump, he did have the oil running in Texas and so forth, so that we didn't have to be dependent on Russia. And we was aiming towards oil dependency. So this thing is all a stage.
Mm-hmm.
This is all a stage. There's no shortage. America has all the resources it needs to feed and have all cars gassed up, right? So the question is, if there's not a food shortage, if it's not a gas shortage, if that's not really an issue, that means they're planning something. They're, not Donald Trump, excuse me, President Obama's chief of staff. He became a mayor in Chicago. He stayed, I forgot his name.
You're talking about Rahm Emanuel.
Yes.
Yes.
He says that it's always foolish for you to not take advantage of a tragedy that's happening, to not try to pass some laws. So if it's a tragedy,
he says he quoted that we cannot let a good disaster go to waste.
Exactly.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
So even whether this thing is organic or not, I'm not here to use the argument. I think it's organic. I think Will Smith is having a nervous breakdown, but it doesn't change the fact that the powers that be will use it to distract the populace, to have us look over here and not pay attention over there. So I yield with that. I see Brother Gaja. I know he wants to come in.
Okay, well, hold on before you go, because I really have to hold on. I want to actually dialogue a little bit on some of what you're saying, because it's quite important, some of the points you brought up, right? You brought up that it seems that Will Smith is breaking. He's being broken right before all of our eyes. right? With the pressures of what it is to be in Hollywood, upholding his family and, and the liberal pressure that comes with being in Hollywood as an A-list actor, right? And on top of that, having a woman who's public, who's an actress herself, who publicly says she deals with depression and different mental anguishes that comes with being the wife of Will Smith. And I think it's all coming to a head. Why? Because there's no real righteous or spiritual order as far as what God intended for family there. And it doesn't matter. And the example that I need to put out there real quick, Gabar, which should be a lesson for all of our brothers and sisters. If they think, or any of us think, the more money we receive or get, that it will make us better or happier as people, if anything, we need to look at that as an example.
Mm-hmm.
We should view that and say, well, hold up. Will and Jada got more money than any of us can have in 30 lifetimes with children who has generational wealth. Does that look like the example of a healthy family?
Yeah.
So us chasing the bag and chasing the money, you heard what Biggie said, the more money, the more problems.
Yeah.
The love of money is the root of all evil. And really, the only serenity that we can have, or peace we can have within ourselves, is getting right with the Almighty and setting up an institution of marriage that was established morally from the beginning as God intended, where a man is operating in his natural role and she's happy in her natural role. And guess what? And it's a shame, because what I see is that sister getting dragged through the mud based on how she decided to raise her family. She's getting dragged and all that. And I'm like, you know what? She's out in the wilderness too, without any direction. You think a woman wants to be in a position to have to be so hard and do all these things? To be masculine and be more aggressive? Women don't want that role. Really. But it's the confusion, the changing things upside down, and it's also the pressure, the peer pressure of being under the spotlight. So it's not only Will Smith cracking, it's Jada cracking too, with their children witnessing it.
Yeah.
With their children witnessing it. And this is the whole thing. That's what I'm talking about. They're under the pressure of being able to satisfy the liberal expectations of them publicly. To have a free family to progress this liberalism. And it's destroying them. When really they need baptism. They need the Bible. They need to get out of this Zen this Zen type of new age philosophy where they can always philosophize the meaning of life, but we're looking exactly with what they're producing outside of this Zen crap they use to excuse the dysfunction everyone has been witnessing. And that's let me tell you, that's part of the public life. Like I said, Gabar, I can only pray for them, because why?
Yeah.
Really, the only answer for them initially to have peace is to walk away.
Yeah.
To make a choice, to walk away and say, you know what? We need to get this healthy family together before judgment. Hold on, hold up, Elder Gabar. I just seen Gaja. Hold on, let me pull y'all through. One second.
Yes, sir. I think my camera's working now.
Oh yeah, you popped up too. All praises. All right, real quick, we have Gaja in the house. Elder Gaja, how you doing, Gaja?
Blessed by the best.
Okay, let me decrease so that you elders can increase. One moment. Hold on. Let's see. Every time I speak, there's feedback. So do me a favor, Gaja. I need you to put both of your headphones on. Okay. That's better. One moment. All right. I can hear myself through you, Gaja. So what I'll do is I won't say anything so that you can just go ahead. Let me mute my mic so that they can hear you. Go on.
Elders, enough respect and love, blessings. Giving all praises to the Most High, man. Good to be here. I haven't spoken to you elders and brothers since before the new year. So happy new year and many returns. I bless you and keep you all, man. Boy, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? This is wow. Where to start, man? You know what? Let's go into the Bible first and foremost. All right. I'm in the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter. So I was texting you earlier, Elder. Revelation 6:5 says, "And when you opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, 'Come and see.' And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and on that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand." Verse 6. "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, Measure out a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Verse 7. This is the key verse. "And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, 'Come and see.' And look, and behold, a pale horse, and on his name sat on him was death, and hell followed him. And power was given unto them over a 4th part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." Now, people don't check it, Russia and Ukraine is one of the 2 largest exporters of wheat on the planet. Africa, Europe, all of these places get wheat from them. Okay? So when you look in the New Translation of the Bible, it tells you that the price of wheat is the price of bread is going to be a day's wage. Okay? That's a food shortage coming in. Okay? We're coming off of the back of the pandemic, where the pandemic crushed a lot of small business, put a lot of people in poverty, and then now this new war now with the inflation of the US dollar and the so-called war and all of these things, the price of petrol was going up before the Ukraine war started. So I don't know how they're blaming the Ukraine war on this when it been going up. Okay? So this is just lies and smoke screen and destruction because of what's really coming. The daily sacrifice, them looking to take it away. Okay? Looking to be obsolete. People, grow your own food right now. Right now it's time to be self-sustaining, self-reliant. That's what it's about right now under Christ's government. Coming out of this kingdom. Okay? That is where it's at. Real time. Real time. Ella, you mentioned the woman, Jackson, whatever she called, Jackson.
Ketanji Jackson.
Ketanji Jackson, yeah.
Satan's daughter.
The prosecutors insisted that she give what was it, 59 500 and something months for the crime, and she gave the minimum of 50 odd months. All of the sex offenders them, all the pedophile offenders them. Okay, and that's not even an accusation. That's documented. And when they asked her about it, the judge or whoever it was there refused her from answering the question. All that out there right now. Okay, when he said disseminate food shortage. Disseminate means to spread.
Mm-hmm.
How to spread that? It's
So Biden, Hey, check it out, Gaja. Biden outright said that they were discussing at the G7 on how they're going to disseminate more food shortages. So he out there told them that we're planning to make these food shortages quick and vast and more. But go ahead, Gaja.
Check it out, Ella. Check this out now. For years, we've had what you call it, Monsanto, with the GMO crops, the seeds that only bear one time, that don't reproduce naturally. So this earth actually been going into this famine for a long time. Long before Ukraine war and this, but it is what they've been planning, right?
Yep.
To happen, to push the price of petrol literally double. It's gone right up. Once petrol go up, everything else go up with it. And the continual printing of the US dollar is going to devalue the currency. No, the US currency isn't backed by gold or silver, or anything, The US currency is backed by the petrol, its ability to purchase oil.
Yeah.
So if that changes to euro or Chinese yuan or Russian, what do you call it? Rubles,
yeah.
Yeah, or even Bitcoin, right? If that changes, that is going to crash the American economy. It's going to be civil war on the streets of America if the US dollar has no more value. That is where it's heading. And that talk that Putin can can hack the computers in America or whatever the case is, if they cut the power system over there where you said earlier, when this internet thing fails, it's going to be total chaos in the streets. And first people it's going to affect the poor black people, poor white people. It's going to affect the poor across the board. And once that happens, it's military coming out, it's martial law. Okay, you know what? Because of the crash of the petrol dollar, we're switching over now to the what you call it, currency, to the cryptocurrency, which is just a precursor leading to the mark of the beast. People, this is the time that we're in right now. You understand me? Stevie Wonder can see it. You understand me? If Ray Charles is about, he could see it as well. You understand me? The blind can see what's going on, what is about to happen. This thing coming, what they're doing right now is like, come on, man. You with me? Now, with that said, the Will Smith and Chris Rock issue, I agree with Elder Gabar. I agree. Will Smith is having a mental breakdown in front of everybody. You with me? Whether they planned it, whether they staged it, or whatever the case is, they're perpetuating an image right now of total madness amongst our people. You with me? The Oscars them is a thing that nobody never watched the Oscar before. You'd see it on the TV, the news the following day. This has been the most popular Oscar award ever. You with me? The price of Will Smith following on social media has quadrupled. Chris Rock price tickets them gone out the roof. You understand me? And money was never these people's problem. Them still rich. You with me? Nothing hasn't changed. But look at, as Elder said, the divisiveness that this whole thing has created. You understand me? Hey, Elder, I sent you a video earlier of some Israelites commentary on this. You should watch it when you get a chance privately. You understand?
Hold up. Is it something that I'll just watch it.
You can't play it. You can't play it live.
Okay, it's the old spirit of examining of examining social events. But I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna put it back over to you. I don't even want to know if I want to know that perspective, what they talking about. But it's like this, right? It's like this. It's a shame that what the optics are when it comes to our people, strong men. I mean, they have Kanye West in the midst of a breakdown. He's a billionaire in the midst of a breakdown over a woman he knew was out there in those streets. Then you have, I'm talking about, look how men, black men in general, are being viewed who have power. I mean, Will Smith, who didn't love Will Smith? From Philadelphia, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And all of a sudden before the world, they want to show him as the example of someone who's totally being emasculated or have no control over the direction of his family. And when I say they want to, folks, the media controls how images are portrayed. If they wanted him to be that strong black image that all of us can look up to, they would promote that. Okay? Don't forget, the Kardashians aren't presented through media as harlots. Somehow these women can go through all these different men and media can push them, can move them in a position where their harlotry is justified based on how it's portrayed.
Elder, just, real quick, people are complaining, or there's a back, you know, they could hear you. Maybe guys.
Yeah, they can hear me because Gaja, I need you to mute your mute your speaker, mute your mic while I'm talking, Gaja.
Right, and then you can just go back and forth. Though.
Yeah. I'm feeding back through Gaja's system.
Yeah, I'm hearing the comments there. They're saying.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
See, but Thawada Gabar, but that's the whole deal. They have the power to have us come over as what? The example of a strong matriarchy. But they purposely portray the powerful of our men as weak. As weak when it comes to a relation with women. And it's the media doing that. They wanted Will to break before everyone. Say, look how powerful this black man is. Ali, the greatest. King, what's his name? King George.
King Richard.
King Richard, and this, that, and the other. And yet he's breaking at the behest publicly based on what? They want to show him weakened by a woman publicly. That's a media thing. They don't have to show him in his weakness. I don't care what you think about Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. I don't care what you think about none of these A-list guys like that. They'll never be portrayed. Their private life will never portray them under the foot of women.
Mm. And Elder, I know Elder Gaja wants to come back in. I want to hear the rest we have to say. But you know what's the sad thing about this?
Yes.
Is that here you have Brother Will Smith making having a movie about a man, Richard, who raised two daughters, a black man.
Yeah.
And celebrating his life. Yeah. And an image or a particular thing that you don't see much being celebrated within Hollywood or within mainstream media or social media. You know, the black man is always the drug dealer, the drug addict, right? The troublemaker, right? Or the problematic person. Here's glorifying a man who did the right thing and took care of his daughters and trained his daughter to be one of the best tennis players of all times. And that's not being celebrated. Will Smith smacking another brother in the face is being celebrated, and it's just sad. It's just sad
and that's deep in itself. And I know some people just came in who would like to take a side because they didn't hear the original monologue I had.
Yeah,
but that it was meant to be divisive on every side on purpose, so that we can argue back and forth on this particular provocative thing that have never happened on an Oscar stage. So that's why you'll be like, well, it's his own fault. It's Will's fault. But at the end of the day, media has what? Media has the power to portray someone in the image they want. It doesn't matter the character of a person. They can make someone who's heinous squeaky clean. when Michael Jackson was at the height of his career and was making them all this money before he understood the game fully, he was squeaky clean. Okay? And no sooner as he understood how the business worked behind the scenes, how dark they really are, and wanted control over his own future, his own, he was able to understand publishing and buy his own royalties. All of a sudden, the same media who once propagated him as a squeaky clean artist soiled him as possibly an alleged pedophile overnight. So that's what I mean. That the media has the power to portray you as they want. Based on what? Based on their advantages, one way or the other. I use R. Kelly, I use Bill Cosby. All of these people were at the top of their game and made much money for the elite. And a flip of the switch, they can portray them in a different image, which comes down to this. At the end of the day, they break all those of our people that they utilize. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether or not you have talent, doesn't matter whether or not you're educated. Through the lens of masters, we're still viewed as slaves. And at the end of the day, we have to stop dealing with their portrayal, their liberalism, and think that we can get down with them. Because the only thing they're going to do is raise us up enough to be seen as something great to crash us right before all those who respects us. Come back to the Almighty and get a moral standing and a moral example to follow that could get our families back together in preparation for what's to come. And it doesn't matter whether or not you Kanye West, doesn't matter I don't care if you're Jay-Z, I don't care if you're Will Smith. And let me tell you this. And this is for the brothers and sisters that are out there who think you've done whatever and you went so far that you believe there is no way back, that you're stuck. Don't let the enemy have you believe that either. The only sin that cannot be forgiven is what? Blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Doesn't matter what you've done. Doesn't matter if you think you took an oath or whatever the case is. Drop to your knees and ask the Most High to forgive you, and we'll show you the water. Come out of that water in newness of spirit, get cleansed, and do what's right according to God's law. And guess what? Our God, the God of Israel, will accept you. Because you see what happens when you are accepted in this world. Okay? They'll mock you. They'll use you as a spectacle. And Elder Gaj, I'm going to bring you in real quick. And you know what? Boy, they couldn't wait to portray us publicly before the earth, to show exactly what we are when they give us an opportunity. Because that's how they're doing it, smoking their cigars and say, look, this is what happens when we give them an opportunity on our stage. Look at them. They can't even hold their emotions. Black on black crime. I told you what would happen. It reminded me of Trading Places when they had this bet. The so-called elite on Trading Places. I don't like to use movies for an example, but where they made a bet for $1 whether or not they can change Eddie Murphy into an upstanding stock trader. And at the end of it, when whether or not they can take a white yuppie guy and turn him to the streets. As what? As you remember that? Elder, y'all remember that? as an experiment. You have to realize when you have enough money and really money isn't what you're chasing anymore. These elite have war games that has nothing to do with finances. It's how we can use psychology to control people. It's about having someone do your will is their currency. And they'll make you and they'll get you and they'll put PR people around you. They'll prop you up. They'll make you the Fresh Prince. They'll make you squeaky clean. They'll do all that and say, I bet you I'll have them fighting on the Oscar stage within 10, 15 years, one amongst another. Because at the end of the day, they are who they are, aren't they? But this is really not about them, for those who didn't hear the monologue. This is really about the fact that they want us to see this so that they can pass Ketanji Jackson, someone married to a straight elitist demon, to get on the Supreme Court. And guess what? If that happens, look for them to make pedophilia a sexual preference. Watch. Because if a man can swim and say that he identifies as a woman, it's nothing for a 60-year-old dirty old man to identify as a 14-year-old boy. That's less than identifying as a woman altogether. So watch when they begin to change laws based on feelings. You can have a dirty old man who feels like he's 10 years old and is justified with a little girl. Watch it. And this is what was happening while everyone was looking at a slap. They was having this sycophant, this demon with hair, approved for the Supreme Court, who have let people with child pornography and all that off on the lightest sentences. And that's right. She's a proxy for what they're about to bring forth. And we're going to accept it because why? It's being used with it's being presented with a black face. It's being presented with a black face. All right, guys, you can finish up that last piece you had. All right, I'm sorry about that. Before we open up the lines there.
It's all good, man. You said so many things there. You with me? That was a really good movie. Really, really good movie. The director of that movie, John Landis, he's the one that did Coming to America. And something tells me that John Landis knows very well who we are. But anyways, we'll save that for another time. Elder, we hear what more can we see right now? Israel, we've been saying it for a couple of years now, from the pandemic started a few years back, and probably even before that as well. Stock up on food, get your house right. You understand? Linking with the Most High, linking with that church near you, and just grow, and let's watch. Let's grab the popcorn and watch the wheels fall off of this thing. It's falling. You with me? Yeah. So, it's become the habitation of every foul beast, every foul creature. So let's just watch it burn. You with me? And we have next. So, that's all I have to say for tonight. Family, enough love, enough respect, man. It's been a blessing to come on to the program. Ella, when you get a chance, watch that video I sent you, man. Yeah. So
it'd be good for a good laugh tonight, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Let's watch it, man. You know the brother well that's presenting it. So watch it.
Yeah, gotcha. Send it to me too. I want to see it.
All right, I'll send it to you right now. Yeah.
All right, elders, hold tight. Y'all can hold on if you would like. Let me bring in some of the calls, okay?
Will do.
And do me a favor, Gaja, put your mic on mute if you don't mind. I really appreciate it, man. There go the elders. All right. And there's many more. There's many more. What great men. All right, hold tight. Let me get in the calls. And yes, Lamont, Kakum Shakur, call me up. If I'm sorry that I misplaced your number, but I'll put it. I have my phone to lock you in, and I'll call you right after the broadcast if you call in tonight. All right. Yeah. So, all right, let me bring in, let's see here. Elders, are y'all still there?
I'm still here, yes.
All right, great.
Yes.
All right, hold tight. All right. All right, one moment. Let me call in now. Yep, here we go. 515-605-9327 if you would like to chime in. Oh yeah, we're going to show you a lack of bread while the whole world was watching Will.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
All right. Elders, let me call in. I'll call y'all right back. I got to call them right back here. I'll call y'all right back because there you go.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter the PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
All right, hold tight. We're going to bring in the call. One moment. Well, come. You can chime in 515-605-9327. We'll be right back with the calls. Don't go anywhere. I would love to know your opinions on this.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
That's right. That's right. You are invited. And this Sunday's lesson, that's right. We will be talking about portals, the gateway between heaven and earth. Let's go. One moment. For some reason, Blog Talk is acting up. One moment. One moment, folks. Blog Talk is acting up for some reason. Now Skype is acting up. This is weird. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it like this. That's right. They're not going to stop me.
Cannot be completed as dialed. Please.
All right. I'll do it this way. You're not going to stop me. There it is.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key. Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Okay, we're live on Blog Talk. I had to call in through my phone because Skype wigged out, as well as I'm sorry, elders, but Skype went haywire, as well as Blog Talk. So it's still wigging out. So it's okay. I have brothers and sisters live here, 515-605-9327. If you would like to chime in on the topic, a lack of bread while the world watches will. 929 area code will bring you in first. Sunshine, I see you. I'll bring you in 1 moment. All right. Let's see. 876 area code. 876. You're live. You're live. Okay. There's no one there. (667) area code.
Hello?
You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church. This is Elder Ricard. How are you?
How you doing, sir? God bless. God bless. because I didn't get the prompt before, so I didn't really know it was me. Sorry about that. But yeah, man, it's funny. It's funny, but Elder, ever since I watched, you did a piece back when I believe it was the situation that happened in Miami. Actually, I was there at the time with the dude who ate the other man's face, and how you said not to pay attention, how to be setting things up and all that type of stuff. So for me, when I seen this stuff, I really didn't pay no mind. And like you said, I didn't care if it was stage or on stage or if it was real or fake, because, this ministry have helped me understand that more so the line who I am, and they could care less if we are lions or whatnot, as long as we're the zoo, we could growl and all that. But more and more I'm realizing I don't belong in the zoo, and out in the open. So that's my focus. I'm keeping my eyes on that, because when you see one thing and you go after it, that's where my focus, my eyes on the Almighty. So they could do all they want. They could. That to me, it makes no difference to me, because that's one thing I'm after. They could do a distraction on the left or the right. I'm just going to continue to go forward and keep at that, because what I've learned through this ministry, and the understanding I'm getting now is, I kind of like relapse. I'm going back to the very thing they said that was not good for me, which is going right back to the ordinances of the Almighty. So that's my main focus, and that's what I'm trying to do. I have really one enemy, and that's it. Whoever is with them, then they get the business too. But I have one enemy, so that's what I wanted to say. And I wanted to do some poems today, but I wrote a letter to Satan back then, so I don't know, with your permission, after you take the floor, I want to read that.
Oh, no, let's not do that, because right now I'm having technical difficulties. Whatever we had to say really tilted the technology that's listening and looking at us right now, because, man, everything went out at once when we were about to deal with the phone calls. So obviously, us bringing a perspective outside of how they would like to spin this, it must have disturbed, I think there's a glitch in the matrix. What do you think? But anyway, let me ask. Listen. But let me ask you this. But knowing what's going on, are you prepared to make sure that your family has food, and make sure you get some? Make sure you have some metal cans so that you can fill up gas for an emergency and all that, and store it in a cool place where there's no, it can add, you have to make sure that it's in a non-flammable container, in an area where you can have petrol or gas that you will need in a pinch, as well as food and clean water, filters for your faucets, filter for your showers and all that, so that you can have some clean water. So let me ask, are you taking the steps that's needed, not just spiritually, but physically, knowing that there will soon be food shortages, as Biden stated? What are you doing? Are you making sure you're in preparation?
Well, we starting that. We African, so every year we grow our own crops, actually. So this year we've actually stored some cans, but we have not done the gas and all that, or with the filter or whatnot. But usually what we used to do, we used to boil our waters.
But the answer is yes, you are in preparation, is what I'm just trying to get in a nutshell. I don't need to know in detail what you're doing. I just need I need to know you're doing it.
Okay.
So you are preparing.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right, my brother, let me go to the next call.
Yes, sir.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I was saying, because we have a huge family, so we're trying to sanction different sides where they are to start doing the same thing. So.
Okay. Great. Make sure you're in preparation. I've been saying it for years, because the Most High said it would happen. And, we're at the watchtower telling brothers and sisters from the high tower what's coming down. And most of our people in the church has prepared and are still preparing. So thank you, my brother. All right.
And Elder, I want to say one thing. Because I'm back in Jersey now. Is there a body here I could fellowship with?
If you are in Jersey,
I was in touch with
okay, hold up.
Domain.
Were you fellowshipping in Jersey before?
No, never. Because I first saw y'all here, but then I went back to Florida.
So the answer is no. You haven't been gathering in New Jersey. All right, just send us an email to gathering as one, the number one. I know there's feedback, brothers and sisters. There's a delay between me and Blog Talk. It happens. So I know it appears that I'm over talking, but nah, it's just that it's a delay between when I talk and when he hears me, and vice versa. So I'll tell you what, send an email to gathering it's one, the number one at AOL.com. And we'll make sure, just state your name and that you was on Blog Talk. And state that you would like to join the Jersey body, and I'll have Elder Gabar Yesha'Allah reach out to you. All right?
Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, no problem. All right.
Have a blessed night.
All right. And I apologize, elders. The computer went haywire beyond my control. One moment. One moment. One second. All right, good. One second. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Please don't go anywhere. Give me 1 second here. We're back. Great. All right. If you're on Blog Talk, hold on. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, we are back now. All can hear us. All right. All can hear us. Let's go to the next call. Lydia has a comment.
Yes. Can you hear me, Elder?
I can hear you loud and clear, Lydia. Praise the Most High. We have this.
Praise the Most High.
We have cast out the demon that was operating in Skype here, okay, as well as Blog Talk. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go.
All praises to the Most High. Yes, I am Sister Lydia out of the Philadelphia body.
Yeah.
I was just recently baptized by Bishop Amant.
Praise the Most High.
All praises to the Most High. Yes, this is such a powerful subject. A lack of bread while the world will.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from Philadelphia. I love Will Smith and the Fresh Prince, you know, but I feel like it's all a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not distracted, Elder. I'm focused. I'm focused on keeping food in my home and the toilet paper, the soap. You know, I have a membership with Costco's, and I make sure that I have plenty of water, toilet paper, soap in my home, and you know, and also for the females, you know, I have a starter kit in my car. You know, it's like a credit card for me. I don't never leave home without it, you know.
Okay.
I have everything in my starter kit to make sure that I'm prepared if something happened to me outside, you know. And I also make sure that my tank is, if it's not full, it's half full.
Okay.
Because, you know, if something happens, you know, I'm able to leave my property with gas in my tank. So, no, I'm. This is all a distraction, you know. That slap, I really don't. I don't care about what they do in Hollywood. You know, I don't. I care about our people and what we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so important for us to be prepared for what is happening. You know,
yes.
I saw the news with I don't remember her name. She's married to a Caucasian. I believe she's a judge.
You talking about Ketanji Jackson, the proxy that's being used to totally destroy what you know any level of morality or conservatism that's left within the United States. They came after the people. Now they're going after the women, and because when a grown man can beat a woman at sports and be deemed a woman, that means women rights are destroyed. Wow. And now the next phase are the children. So when that happens, hey, look for judgment. But I'll let you have the last word. I have to go to the next call real quick, Lydia.
Absolutely. You know, speaking of children, you know, I have a grandson. He's 16 and he's into the dreads and the locks and everything. And I love that, but I'm disappointed because he put the pink and the dye in his hair, you know. So, and he's wearing his pants pretty low. But I'm staying on top of my they can't take my grandson away from me. They can't. And he's at an age right now that the mothers, the grandmothers, the fathers, the grandparents, we need to protect our children.
Well, thank you. Great point. Well, thank you, sister, and welcome to the body. All right. And it really comes down to, and I don't know if we noticed that, but you very rarely hear about where's the man, right? Who's going to say, listen, boy, pull up those pants. All right. A matter of fact, you cannot buy no small pants. What you showing your behind for? Right? Who's going to instill some fear in these young men, right? So some constructive, loving fear. Yashar has a comment, 786 area code.
Shalom, Elder.
How you doing, my brother? A lack of bread while the world watches will. What you got?
I'm doing well. Blessed by the best, and the high is his name. You already know.
All right.
I just wanted to chime in. I first of all, you know, I want to give all praises to Ahaya for you brothers for doing the work each and every week. I just wanted to give you that credit. I did want to kind of piggyback and give Elder Gabar some credit as well. He mentioned, you know, amongst all of this distraction with the Will Smith, the Chris Rock, that he was actually getting an award for playing a good role for Venus and Sir William's father, which is Richard Williams. You know,
Yeah.
he played a good role, and I wanted to, and I'm highlighting Elder Gabar for mentioning that because that even slipped my mind, you know, amongst this, and that's just how strong this distraction is, that he's playing a pivotal role for a brown man, and nobody even sees that in regards to all of this madness that Will Smith and Chris Rock did. So I did want to kind of acknowledge Elder Gabar for bringing that to the light, because even myself, I didn't even notice that, you know. So we do kind of have to snap out of the matrix, and it just shows you how strong this disillusion and how strong the media plays on us, you know. But I did want to give Elder Gabar credit, and then I did want to also give credit to Venus and Sir William's father for being such a great dad, being just a role model to those women amongst and amidst all of this madness, you know, just kind of give him some credit, you know, throughout all of this. But also, Elder, what I wanted to do was just, you know, mention a scripture that I thought of today that kind of the Holy Spirit led me to. And, you know, if you don't mind, I just wanted to read that, Matthew 6, and real quick, Matthew 6 and 31.
Go on.
And it pretty much says, Matthew 6 and 31, it says, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So I just wanted to chime in and throw that, because sometimes we get distracted with all of the nuances and the media, and what we really need to be focusing on and seeking our attention on is making it to heaven.
Well, thank you, brother.
Honestly,
Great point.
Elder, I want to give you guys so much credit, and you know, you guys have changed my life tremendously, whether you know that or not, brother. I wanted to just commend you guys. I've been in contact with a couple of brothers. I'm based out of Miami, Florida currently.
Okay.
So if you can possibly take my number down, I've been trying to get in tune with the body out here, you know, that will benefit me and my family as well, you know, because it's always better when you gathering, and that's the goal, you know. So that's where we at right now. But I just wanted to chime in, give Elder Gabar some credit, give all praises to you brothers for doing the work weekly, and then just bring out that scripture, letting people know that we need to just seek the kingdom of heaven first, you know, before we worry about Will Smith or Chris Rock or any of these people, you know, and that's our goal, making it to heaven.
Well, thank you, brother. Great point. And just send an email to gatheringits1@AOL.com for Florida, and we'll have Elder Fernell reach out, okay?
Oh, I'm probably in the queue, maybe about 45 emails in now, Elder.
Okay, well, that means let me. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to write it down on something that will not get misplaced. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I'll do. Let me have your name again.
My name is Ak Ishar. I'm Yashar, Yashar.
Yashar.
I'm based out of Miami, Florida.
Okay, I got that. I have that. Yashar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me write down your number, Yashar, here. Let's see, 1 second. You can be reached on a number here, right? That's showing through Blog Talk?
Yes, sir. 786. Yep.
Don't say your number in public.
786 area code.
Yeah, 786.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I'll make sure Fernell calls you, okay? I'll text him the number tonight. Well, bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's you know what? What the point he made is deep, because how long have they been shunning Will Smith from this elusive Oscar award, where Jada even had to come out years ago and state, you know, her disdain with how they keep overlooking her husband. And guess what? She stood up at that point, but that's overlooked too. publicly and stated that, listen, we don't even need to go if they're going to keep overlooking my husband. What else does he have to do? Right? So I don't think it's a coincidence, and because it's very rare you have the same guy hosting over and over again. The same guy that was saying stuff about her years ago is hosting this time. But what's being overshadowed was the role he finally was able to win an Oscar doing. Highlighting a black man through all odds in a racist sport, raising daughters to take the high ground and become the best at what they do. At the same time, when the media portrays black men as less than for family. That's the last thing. They didn't want that lasting portrayal or image out there. When it came to a black man, and guess what? That one little slap took all of that away. No one even know what this guy got the award for. And it was a man, Serena Williams' father, who stood up against all odds. And don't forget, they tried to call him abusive. They tried to call him hard to work with, just because he wasn't going to let Amalek steal his daughters from him or direct their careers. Okay? No, he stood up. And this is what Will Smith portrayed in the movie to a degree where they had to give him an award. But yet no one, because usually the Oscars will have those who didn't see the movie go see the movie. Okay? Yeah. So it really, Elder Gabar, that was a good point you pulled out with that. Great point. I wasn't even looking at that, but go ahead.
Yeah, and if I could also add to that, Brother Richard, Serena's father, condemned Will Smith for his actions.
Yeah.
That is, and he condemned the speech that Will Smith was, saying at the end, giving a comparison in the same way that he was saying, the same way Richard would protect his daughter, I protect my family. He condemned that.
Yeah.
So that doesn't represent me. And I also want to add that Brother Richard, and I know he's sick and he's an older man now. He's, he needs some help to move around and things of that nature.
Yeah. He's up in age.
So I know that I don't know if this is, to be fair, I wanted to also add that to the narrative. He wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
He was not even in the award show. Why was he not there?
Yeah, but that's a whole nother narrative in of itself. Like I said, we can guess, but I can say that, everything isn't always peaches and cream, flowers and unicorns when it comes to that whole life. Okay, it's cutthroat, dog eat dog. It's whether or not I was portrayed right, whether or not on the set there's something going on. There's no way to figure this out, but I do know that when the cameras come on, they're seeking to portray us, black men in particular, in a negative light. You understand? And I hope that brothers and sisters can see that. It's all about how they would like the lasting image. They understand the power of the lasting image. The last thing you see, which will overshadow our great achievements, us fighting and winning against all odds. So I wanted to put that out there too. And this is what they did. Yeah. They was able to use this slap thing to actually, highlight or really overshadow success. The success that came with a black man raising strong black daughters to be the best within a racist sport. But I digress. All right, let's get a few more. Okay, go ahead, Elder.
You don't have to answer this question now, but if you don't mind, and you could maybe answer this towards the end.
Yeah.
Because I do want to hear the callers. What can Will Smith do to turn this thing around? And I'll leave that in the table.
I'll say this. Will Smith, to turn this thing around, because right now, what we're seeing before us, if it's genuine, is the fact that with each day we're losing a brother. They're self-destructing right before our eyes. Same thing as Kanye West. The only thing they can do, believe it or not, and it's a shame, is to choose a righteous path. Open up that book, ask for forgiveness, and come and ask for guidance from heaven for their family. And to do that, believe it or not, you can't be hot or cold. Not that you can't dive in and do what you need to do work-wise, but he's really gonna need some time and space, I believe, with his family to find the Most High in Christ. And I'm not talking about the Christian church and all that. I'm talking about the God of Israel. The God of Israel. Hey, Will Smith been out in New York. He's seen Israelites speaking. He been in Philly. He know we out there speaking. And a matter of fact, speaking of that, I'm going to show this Friday, where some guys tried to approach Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson at the end of the fight on TMZ said, "Shalom, shalom." Did you see that, Elder Gabar? Elder Lawyer?
I didn't. I have not.
Yeah, he said shalom. He didn't say shalom.
Shalom.
If
That's
he's
a Hebrew Israelite thing.
If he said shalom, he said shalom in the ancient Phoenician Hebrew.
That came from Harlem.
There you go. I'm going to show that. Hey, let me tell you, the only way is to come back to the God of Israel to make some sense.
Amen to
and
that.
see to life and family. And that's why I thank the Most High. Before Whitney Houston died, and they tried not to show this in the United States, but it was big news in Israel overseas. When Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown went and was baptized in the river Jordan. Because in that life, that old crazy life and all that, the only way to make sense of it is to do what? Saying, you know what? I need to walk away from it. I need to cleanse myself from this dirty life called Hollywood. And seek and get direction. It's not going to change overnight, but we need the Holy Spirit to guide us out of darkness. And that's what Will Smith and Jada needs. The world will tear them apart. Hollywood is only going to make them an example, like they do all of our people who have success, and build them up only to tear them down. So Hollywood is not going to do nothing to reconstruct their image. So they just have to pull out all together, them and their children, and be baptized and repent, read the word, and apply the law. And that's what the enemy fears. But I believe Will Smith, he can get there. I believe he will get there. I really do. Because sometimes that breaking point leads to what? Leads to, it's a vulnerable scenario to be under, where you realize that no matter how smart you or talented you are, you really don't have the answers. And sometimes the breaking point, the Most High break you to your knees so that he can say, okay, son or daughter, you ready now? Are you ready now? I was always here. I gave you the talent. I gave you the gift to glorify me. Are you ready to do so? So sometimes we must get to that breaking point to see our true purpose in the Most High. And I just pray that's where that family is right now. Right? And guess what? Whitney Houston knew that she was Israel. And that's when they began to try to destroy her. Bobby Brown. They was all baptized under the Ben Ami scenario, but they wanted, the reason why they connected with Ben Ami, not to join his organization, because she said before she leave this earth, she would like to be, she wanted to be baptized in the river Jordan. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube, look up Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown baptized Israelites.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember Whitney Houston, man.
Yeah, man, there'll never be a voice
Beautiful
like
talent.
it. There will never be a voice like it.
So sad what went wrong with her, because she had those Christian foundations, man.
Yeah.
And Hollywood,
man, people
drugs.
Gabar, people couldn't believe the voice that came from this little woman.
Yeah.
Don't forget, she was a petite woman, but the power of her voice was and will never be matched. It never was before she came, and no one will ever be able to match that talent.
Yeah.
She sung like an angel. All right, let's a few more. Terry has a comment. Don't forget, I see you, Sunshine. We're gonna get you. We got Terry here. We got Barbara here. Then Barbara, then Terry. How you doing, Barbara?
Shalom. I'm blessed.
Okay. The floor is yours. I just wanted to let everybody know that while we're talking about this, it's a convenient distraction because why? And I wanted to put it out there, but the whole thing is they want this on every media circulation based on the fact that you'll see less and less foods in your supermarkets. And that they're looking to raise the gas prices to a point that that even if you have a nice car, you won't be able to afford to drive it. Sorry, they're pulling the plug on Babylon. But go ahead, Barbara. Sorry about that. The floor is yours.
Yes. Yes, I'm in the academy. I've been in there since 2020.
Thank you.
One thing that the pandemic did was to lead me to GOCC. When I couldn't watch or see anything else, I could see you guys. My first Passover was the one you had, you and Elder Lawyer did by yourself. And I learned a lot from you guys. Yes, I watched that one. That when everybody was locked down, you guys still did Passover message.
Yes.
That was my first.
Oh, ain't that something?
But I've been
hear that, Elders?
in it ever since. I got sponsored by somebody, and I've been in it ever since. This whole thing is because the powers that shouldn't be don't want us to be. They don't want the children of Israel to come together. And you guys proved that wrong during the Passover. I tell you, if a portal didn't open up during the Passover, I know it did.
Oh, yeah.
Because the 12 tribes were together.
Yes.
They didn't want that to happen. It happened. It's too late now. They can't turn it back. We're on our way. But I wanted to say that that's why the Most High brought Lamont back to you. That's why Matthew 6:31, the guy quoted today, was saying, because I've always said take no thought for those things. In the Sabbath, it releases me. Me and my husband both. We've been in, like I say, since 2020, and I see the difference in my life. I mean, that no stress. If everyone would just repent, turn from their wicked ways, and like you said in the Sabbath lesson Saturday, if my people who are called by my name, the names He gave us, and Amalek can't do nothing against you. You just got to get under that covering. But I give double honors to GOCC, double honors to all of you. All of you. That was a beautiful thing. The Passover was so beautiful. And next year, I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Yeah. I'm waiting on the Atlanta body to contact me about my baptism. I knew you had a problem with a building or whatever. I listen to everything. So I'm not going to bother you with my questions because I hear the answers through other people.
That's patience.
I heard about the slap at the pharmacy at the drive-thru. I don't watch the Oscars. I've been stopped watching.
No one watches the Oscars.
Actually, in 2020, I stopped a lot of things. Because when the pandemic hit, it woke me up to know that this is now. We are living revelations right now.
Yeah.
So I don't listen to none of that. I only listen to GOCC, and I go back and re-look at them. And over and over again, and I listen to every broadcast you have, because if they don't notify me, I got an alarm set on my phone to let me know when you're coming.
Praise the Most High. Thank you, sister.
So I'm going to get it. But
All right.
I'm waiting on that call for my baptism in Georgia and Atlanta, so we can go through that water. And I know I'm going to be in the end. I know it.
Thank you, sister.
I just feel it.
Oh yeah,
The
hey.
GLCC, you all are the way.
Hey, Christ
You
is the
all
way.
are the
We
way.
just
You are the straight and narrow way.
Yeah, we just walk
That's
in the
it.
path Christ laid for us. That the path that Christ paved with His own
Yeah.
blood is the path we're walking.
And he
sister.
reminded you of that. He reminded you of that past when Lamont called. I could see it on your face.
Oh yeah, and matter of fact,
He
I wrote his
reminded
number
you.
on a business card. I'm gonna find that business card somewhere. But Lamont Kakum Shakur, brother, if you're hearing this now, call in or call the phone number 215-253-4448. Kakum Shakur, because I wrote it on the business card. I put it in my pocket because I didn't want to forget it. And now I got to go through my pants and try to figure out this business card because I should have put it in my wallet. But Kakum Shakur, call me, my brother.
Yeah, I do.
I don't want you to believe that I didn't want to follow up. I'm sorry about that. I know you probably listening. Call it. All right. Thank you, sister.
Yes.
All right.
Y'all keep up the good work. Double honor. Double honor.
Thank you, sister, and bless you. And welcome to the body. And I'll have
Bless
someone
you.
call you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You welcome. And they go, sister, more people are coming to the body. And it's just, and that confirms the reason why the Most High Christ gave us the Spirit to do what? To hold, serve. He says, he that put his hand to the plow and look back isn't worthy of his kingdom. So the whole deal is, hey, it's gonna be rough deals. It's gonna get worse. These food shortages that Biden is talking about is gonna try many people. It's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be the book of Eli out there. And I'm gonna tell you this, hey, we're hold and serve. And the Most High, I believe the Most High is going to give the glory for those who endure into the end. Let me tell you, it hasn't all been perfect. Okay, there's been issues, there've been mistakes, there's been hiccups, all that. But one thing no one can say about the elders or the people that are operating here in the Gathering of Christ Church, no one can ever claim or ever say that the elders put their hand to the plow and look back. They could never say that the elders stopped. Okay? That the elders just said, you know what? It's okay. Let me go back into the world. When people are going through whatever they go through, ups, downs, or indifferences, righteousness, or go back to the world, whatever they've been going through in their life, they know that if they come back around, we're here. Doesn't matter what you're doing in your life, you have that particular security to know that no matter what choices you've chosen, that because we are consistent with our calling, that it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. That's an anchor to know, or a foundation to know, that there's elders that can fill you in and have you catch up from the point you left. Even if you went back into the world. And that can only happen if you have brothers who are going to do it on a daily basis, a consistent basis, as called by the Almighty. Okay, guess what? You can't call us perfect. We've made mistakes, all of that stuff, whatever the case might be. But one thing we never did was we never went back on our calling. And I thank the Almighty for that. 281 area code. Elena.
Hi, Shalom, Elder.
How you doing?
Hi.
Terry, you're
How
next.
you doing?
Terry, you're next. I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia.
Yes, I say the same thing, but I wanted to testify and edify. I thank God for you and the elders, because 3 years ago, and I'm going to get to the topic, your eyes are a mirror to the soul. It's time that people see spiritual and hear spiritually. I was on a quest for the truth, and I was on YouTube, and I seen you and Elder Lawyer, and I said something about their eyes, and I leave it and I come back, and then I begin to listen. I said they telling the truth because I begin to follow the word, open my apocrypha. So I thank God for you all staying on the wall as watchmen and warning a certain people that can hear you and follow you. I do visit the Houston body, and I do plan on getting baptized so I can come to Passover next year. But I thank God for you, Elder, because no matter what you go through, you come and you warn the people. It's about who's hearing and who's obeying and who's following. My whole life has changed since that. I brought my sister in. None of us are vaccinated. I mean, we would have fell for anything had we not listened to the truth. I mean, I got saved when I was 25 years old and still knew that wasn't the truth. I was married to a pastor for 20 years. But when I found you, my whole life began to change. And I said, if I had had this teaching, I'd have still been married. But nevertheless, Father is faithful, and I thank God for you and the elders, because all y'all are living epistles. It's like you bring the Bible, you bring the word with a good understanding, and then you write out scripts for people to follow.
Hey.
And I thank Ahaya for that, because my relationship has gotten stronger. I mean, I could just weep because you guys, God uses you and the elders mightily because it takes a team. You couldn't function as you function if you didn't have the right team in place. Yeah. So I thank Ahaya for that, and I just want to encourage you to continue, because a lot of times I can see you going through, but I pray. I do undergird you guys in prayer because you need it. Like you say, nobody's perfect. We need it. But it's time to prepare and follow. I knew all that was fake. I don't watch the Oscars either because it's all demonic. People think I'm very peculiar in this season because I don't do a lot of stuff. But I can't follow the world. I got to follow what Ahaya is saying.
Okay.
And, and they wanted everybody to know because they kept persistence. Everywhere you cut on, Will Slap. Okay, who cares about that? That's fake. Like you say, they need prayer. They really, really do.
Yeah.
Because they deal with their mind, which is the enemy, the wickedness.
Yeah.
But, you got to stay steadfast and prepare. Prepare. I tell my children, prepare. I work very hard. I work 2 jobs. I own a real estate company, but I'm preparing. I'm preparing my children, my family. We got to do this. Most of my family has been, but we have it, me and my sister and her children. So we're preparing, and I just want to, encourage you. I thank God for you, your family, just everybody. Just stay on the thank you. I thank the Father that somebody out there warning the people.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate it.
Because it's very few with the truth.
Well, thank you.
Yes, because, it's a lot of tainted stuff. Yes. But thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Bless you. Okay, what an encouraging call. I really appreciate that. Terry has a comment. Shalom.
Shalom.
You're live.
I was calling about the Jews. Is she still there? Well, I was calling about the Jews anyway.
Okay, there's a lot of hold up, brother. There's a lot of interference. It don't seem like your phone is clear there. There's a lot in the background there. What's going on there?
Is it better now?
Okay, yes, great.
Oh, I was saying about the lack of food. At the same time, they're coming around our neighborhood offering 2 years free internet. So I was just thinking, add that along with the juice. That's kind of weird. Both of them come out about the same time.
Okay, well, I don't understand. I don't understand what's the correlation with the lack of bread and the internet. I don't understand. What are you saying? I mean,
remember what the scientists said about the internet? Remember Rwanda, when the other female scientists said that they had the jet on the tar field and they aimed the thing at them.
Okay.
They turned it up and over 1 million people died.
Okay, so what you're talking about with the 5G frequency, along with the stuff that's in people, that can be like a hypnotic control mechanism in place. And not only that, I'll tell you this. What I'm saying is, you have to realize that if you want to control people, that paying for their distractions is par for the course too. So the internet with TikTok and everything else, these are convenient distractions that they can actually, that can take up, time and mental space while while Biden and others are, planning to pull the rug right from up under those who are in a psychosis mode just looking at the internet. So believe it or not, and you have to realize a lot of the corporations advertise through the internet now. So this is how they get consumers to buy more. So just like a drug dealer, you know what I mean? Usually he gives someone their first dose, but after that, he benefit from what? He benefit from the repetitive need of the goods. So the same way they'll give internet. Like I told people years ago, before the internet, I said, listen, if we didn't pay for TVs, the government would give them away. And that was before the internet, because that's their control. That's the control box. That's the dumb box. It's the box that leads people, leads people into, it's like the Pied Piper. So, and no sooner as I said that, when the internet came out, then what happens? The televisions, you can get a 80-inch TV from Walmart for $400. So can you imagine? So the whole thing is they're giving away internet because internet is a convenient distraction, as well as what? It's what people are going to be able to utilize for swiping and connecting and spreading the spike protein. But you have the last word. And not only that, let me go to the next call, because there's a lot of background noise and it's not that clear. All right. So let me go to the next call. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's go to the next call. We have Aaron has a comment. Aharon.
Shalom, Elder. Hello.
Hey, Shalom. Make sure I'm not playing in the background.
Gotcha, sir. Yeah, I just had a quick comment. The Cassandra Jackson sister for the is it Supreme Court or position or whatever?
Yeah, Ketanji Jackson, whatever her name
anyway,
is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I saw a quick clip. I guess they were questioning her or whatever, and it had nothing to do with the topic at hand. But she said something about there's a African Hebrew Israelite restaurant that serves really great food and a great menu. And in my opinion, I just feel like that was code speaking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, that's just my comment. I don't know if you.
I heard it, and it seems like it was out of nowhere. It wasn't even provoked in conversation. No one asked her a question about an Israelite, but all of a sudden, Israelite is in her mouth. And what brothers and sisters don't know, they're not saying it, but let me tell you, the whole political spectrum is focused on the rise of is focused on the fact that our people are realizing we're Israelites. Because it changes everything. It develops a code amongst us, a moral standard, so that we can understand the enemy that's within our communities. As an Israelite, you automatically look at the law and start to examine everything around you according to God's lens, which is through his word. So this is why this Ketanji woman who's married to this progressive, allegedly whoever this guy is dealing with, a lot of our sisters don't even know that this guy she's attached to, this white guy, okay, you can choose what you want. It's fine that he's white. That's her choice. That's her preference or whatever. But the whole deal is politically what he's attached to. It's dangerous. So she's not even in the wheelhouse or in the environment to invoke the word Israelite out of her mouth during a hearing. Why is she even saying an Israelite? When really they're trying to progress all of these liberal movements, which is evil, to try to undo what the Most High is instituted in the earth through his law, using Israelites. But I seen that, brother. I seen her say that. I'm like, that was weird. Why is she even saying anything about Israelites?
And Elder, if you don't mind, if I could chime in.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gaba.
Yeah. When I heard that, right? Okay. This is the first time when I seen a hearing of somebody being approved for the Supreme Court that it seems like something is wrong with her. Like she's being coached, and it doesn't feel like she's actually. It means she's being like someone else is controlling her speech.
Yes.
For some odd reason.
Yeah, she's not a real judge. She's an activist.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody's hand is definitely in her back.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I felt that. And then when she said the whole Israelite thing, that even parked my interest. Like, okay, what's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, talking about she knows some real good vegans who are Israelites who have businesses. I'm like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? But all of these things are being wrote into transcripts. So now Israelites are in Supreme Court transcripts for what? So I don't know how far this is going to go, but I can see them putting a structure in place that would make it illegal for Israelites to quote the Bible if it offends others. And I believe that's something that's going to be pushed in law that she'll rubber stamp. That how can you teach the Bible when it offends, when it breaks the laws, the civil laws, and it actually does what? Hurt people. Your belief shouldn't hurt others based on their freedom to exercise a lawful, listen to me clearly, a lawful lifestyle. If it's legal, if it's legalized, it's now, Elder Gabar, elders, it's now protected by law. So you cannot read the scriptures that will hurt someone's feelings, right? And she'll rubber stamp that. But go on.
And Elder, if you don't mind, just let me say one more thing. I'm sorry to come in, but
no, go ahead.
The crazy thing is this: if we're in a situation that now we have a judge that's being controlled by some people outside of
Amalek,
the shadow people.
Yeah,
that means that America is about to be invaded by some shadow people. If she's, and it's a scary situation, and
Gabar,
this conversation is the only conversation that's talking about that.
Gabar, the political coup has already taken place. When they did that smoke and mirrors with the election and all that other stuff, and where it was mail-in ballots and people didn't know who the president was for over a month, under the guise of the smoke screen of what was going on with the cold and there was a lot of dynamics. George Floyd, there was a lot of misdirection while they were putting something in place.
This is one of those pieces.
Yeah. What we're seeing now is that was the plan. What we're looking at now was the plan through the smoke and mirror, George Floyd, the code, all this, mail-in ballots, no one can go outside. All of that so that they can actually institute a political what? A political coup to put people in place for what we're seeing now. So I don't agree with the black faces they put in before. As a matter of fact, that's a Trojan horse.
And also, Elder, but I also said that we men should complain about choosing a black woman. Let me explain. Remember the one of the judge that passed away, she was a liberal woman, and everybody was talking about who should replace her.
Yeah.
And the woman who replaced her was the Latina sister.
Aaron, I'm gonna put you on hold, okay? But go on.
The Latina sister. All the women demanded that role should be replaced by another woman. And nobody in politics, nobody in Hollywood pushed back against women. And it was replaced by a woman. Congratulations. But that role, that was the only black man in the Supreme Court. they should replace his role with another black man. In the same way, the women were demanding to replace that role with a woman.
You know what? I can see what you're saying there, Elder Gabar. But let's do this. It should be a situation where when black women are appointed into certain positions or are being touted for certain positions, they should stand up and say, well, no. I respect you acknowledging us to be qualified for this position, but we need now to swing the pendulum another way so that we now can be represented by strong, traditional black men. They're out there. And I'm willing to relinquish this appointment so that now we can back the strength of our family to make us what we once were, God-fearing people with the men at the helm. That's what it should be. Because they're out there. And guess what? The women know they're out there. Okay? So that's what it needs to be. Women need to look at it and say, you know what? I'm being used as a proxy to destroy the image of family. There's no other people on earth that's being represented by their women in mass and are thriving. This is counterproductive. They're using us against our own people. All due respect, I back Clarence Thomas. Okay? I back this man or that back. And a matter of fact, they cannot be intersectional or have any question concerning what a traditional marriage, traditional marriages are. They have to be.
Our brother was conservative. Exactly.
So not only do we need her to back a black man, we have to make sure he deals with traditional values and is a man according to the Bible's definition of a good one.
And guess what, Elder? He was the only one of the Supreme Court judges that openly quoted that we have to finally look at the evidence that the Republicans are bringing in regards voter fraud. When we're finally going to look at the evidence, the Supreme Court never looked at the evidence. I don't want to start a conspiracy theories, but he passed away.
Look at that. And we're gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna tell you, what was the girl that played on? She was the dancing girl or whatever back in the day who played on Ice Cube's first movie when they was dealing with the stripper thing or all that back then in the 90s or early 2000s.
Ice Cube.
Well, it was the young girl who played that particular position, right?
Okay.
Who was struggling and all that in Ice Cube's first movie. I don't know her name. Maybe Elder Lawyer knows.
I think I knew something about. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was his first movie. I think his first movie was Boys in the Hood. I think you're talking about dancing. You probably talking about the.
It was the Boys in the Hood.
About the Players Club.
I'm talking about the Players Club. Well, yeah, where they had the comedians and all that in it.
Lisa Ray.
Right.
Lisa Ray, that's her name.
Lisa Ray.
Now, one thing I liked about Lisa Ray for years is the fact that she always respected the fact that Ice Cube was in a position to give black women opportunity that Hollywood wouldn't. And it's one thing about that. When Ice Cube came with that scenario where he said he came with a black plan for America. And I seen Lisa Ray there, and I seen those other sisters saying, well, what about Biden? What about Biden?
Oh, yeah, man.
Remember when that happened?
That was disgusting.
Lisa Ray. When I seen that, matter of fact, we did a broadcast on it. I'm like, it's a shame. It's a shame that at when we're in position to make a political statement that would help all of us, they know that they can find women amongst us to undo any traction we have as black men. Only so that they can come behind a week later or a month later only to state, well, we must be in position because there's no black men who's really out there to lead. We had to step in a position because there's no black men who can do anything to lead. When every time we do it, we expect them to do what? to back us publicly. And I'm saying that to say, this is why I'm not going to celebrate when they got a Ketanji for this or that, because it seems like they're using, and this is what they're going to try to do, they're going to make black women altogether a separate minority group from her man. It's like we're two separate races.
Exactly.
And it's happening right now.
It's like they're gonna start putting, okay, what are you? White, black man, black woman,
exactly.
Latino, Asian. It's like there's two different categories now.
Yeah. It's like they made her a separate entity that can be used to filibuster or stop us from progressing.
Yeah.
Because it's certain political moments to know whether or not she's on our side.
Yeah.
I don't want you to march once we're dead like George Floyd. We need you to back us while we are alive to show that you're really behind us. You can use us as the only time you can back a black man is if he's a dead black man. So,
yeah, and let me say
listen, that could be a whole nother show, but this is what I'm saying. That's why I'm not backing that Ketanji thing, because it's obvious she can't even define a woman, what a woman is. So she's going to be used as a liberal tool to destroy the image of who we are if she don't know who she is.
Exactly.
But I digress. Go ahead, Elder.
Yeah, because it goes back to we got this negative stereotype of sisters, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying to change that image by bringing those sisters to Christ and brothers and everybody.
And it's happening. It's happening, but the world, there's no cameras on it, but it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. Yeah. That problem is now, remember the categories of, are you white? Are you black man, black woman, Latino? Eventually, it's gonna be, are you white man? Are you white woman? Are you black man? Are you black woman? Are you Latino man? Are you Latino woman? Because they're gonna start separating the family of all races. So they want us against each other, man and woman.
See, but
that's why sisters have to understand that. Go ahead,
but but by default, who wins? I'm gonna tell you who wins.
The devil.
Yeah, but guess what other group win? The group who can keep their tradition and religion intact. Without intrusion. That if you say something about them, you're canceled. They will benefit because whoever culture isn't mixed all and mingled all up, they keeps the moral high ground as far as history and tradition goes, because you don't have no tradition or culture or history after being mingled, twisted all about this race with that race, and now you have no tradition, no history to stand on. So the only people who are left are those who kept their race, their religion intact historically. This is why they're doing this intersectional and all these other things, because they'll be the what? They'll be the moral standard. Like our families are still together. Okay? Hey, they'll be straight up. Hey, Rosh Hashanah. So if y'all want, hey, that's all I got to say. But hold up.
Like the title said, while the world watch will.
While the world watches will.
Right.
Ain't that something?
If you don't mind, I got just one thing I want to add to this conversation. Since we're on this particular aspect or on this particular topic, is one thing I want to add before we get back to the calls.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So since we're having this conversation
hold on, Elder Gabar. Elder Lawyer. 1 second. All right.
Yes, sir.
Don't lose your place. All right. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
All right. 1 moment. Because Gaja, when you come in, make sure your microphone is muted, because you'll come in subsequent to Elder. You can put your Put your video on, Gaja. But you can come on subsequent. There you go. I have you. All right. Let me bring in Elder Lawyer real quick. Hold on. There you go. All right. All right, Elder Lawyer. You're on.
Yes, sir. So in having this conversation, dealing with the political football that's going on with the election of the sister they have up there, which one thing that we're mentioning in particular concerning her is where does she stand politically as pertains to we spoke about the pedophilia thing and those who dealt with pedophilia getting light charges and things of that nature under her watch. And one thing I want to say, and I want to tie this into the question that Elder Gabar asked earlier concerning Will Smith and where does he go from here? Okay. How does he change this around? And I know people are probably wondering, how are we tying the two together? Or how am I tying the two together? Well, the thing is this. Mankind has a bad habit of trying to question the word of God and what the Most High established. And primarily, when it comes to what the Most High established as far as family structure. We see the rise of this support of making pedophilia normal. We see the redefining of family roles, the redefining of gender roles, young men being raised up to believe that it's okay if they identify as young girls. Young girls thinking it's okay that if they can be raised up to believe that it's okay to identify as young boys. We're seeing all of these elements that are rising up and becoming popular, which is reshifting and questioning the foundation of what God established concerning family. Male and female created he them. If a man is to leave his father and mother and unite with his wife, they two shall come together and become one flesh. That is what God established. That is the simplicity of the scriptures when it comes to family. So this is how we tie this in with Will Smith and the question Elder Gabar asked earlier, which I think is a very good question. Where should he go from here? I think what he needs to do, first and foremost, is he needs to reevaluate whatever the arrangement he has with his family and with his marriage. And primarily this thing he deals, or the thing that we've heard throughout the years, I'm pretty sure many of you have heard it out there. I'm pretty sure the elders, you all have heard this thing where him and his wife have an open marriage, where there's an agreement. She can go outside of the marriage and deal with whoever she wants to deal with. He can go outside the marriage and deal with whoever he wants to deal with. And it's this whole redefining of marriage and what family is and what husband and wife is, that if you don't know by now, if you haven't learned from looking at the example of his family and how they've turned out through their process of trying to redefine marriage, if you don't learn from this, that does not work, you're in for a rude awakening, because it's going to go from one slippery slope to the next. We're seeing the slippery slope as we speak, right before our eyes developing. So to answer that question, he needs to first and foremost reevaluate the arrangement he has with his marriage and his family, and just break everything down and just go back to the traditional, regular, what God established, male and female created he them, go back to the regular gender roles with his children, and just start from there. What God established concerning family. Because if any family is an example of what not to do, it's his family.
There they go. That's the example. The gender bending and using the family to push a progressive, liberal, destructive generation. All right, Elder Gaja, I got a few more calls. You said you wanted to come in. You was chopping at the bit. Talk to me.
Hey, Elder, what they mean they can't answer the question as what is a woman? But I don't get that. What the hell is going on right here? What do you mean you don't know what a woman is?
She said that she's not a biologist. But then guess what? She was getting slammed so hard that she had to come back and say, of course I know what a woman is the next day. I'm a woman. I have to, nah, you have to tell people that a woman has ovaries. Okay? She's born with them. That a woman has a reproduction to bring forth children. That there's no pill that someone takes to artificially become something. You have to, you don't even have to say that. You have to just describe who you are, what you are. What you go through, what you went through when you realized you had a cycle that led you into womanhood.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious, but she can't. But you know what? She couldn't say, "Well, I really can't define what a woman is." So I'm sure there are going to be more complex issues coming to your bench on the Supreme Court than whether or not you know the difference between a man and a woman. So does that disqualify you? But go ahead.
Hey, and you know, you hit it on the head with the question that Elder Gabar asked. Where does he go from here? I mean, I'm gonna save my opinion because I don't think they're not gonna really like what I have to say. But I tell you what I will say though.
What's that?
Isaiah the 3rd chapter, verses 16. All right. So this is your alopecia right here. It says, moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making tinkling with their feet, therefore the Most High will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. So this here problem that going on with our sisters, them, we have to really come back to the Most High. As you said, Elder, they have to really go back and examine themselves with the Most High. And let me back in again off what Elder Gabar said with that movie, King Richard. It's not just a strong black man, It's a strong family. Strong Israelite family.
Exactly. A strong family.
Yep. The role that the wife played in that movie was, it deep on levels right now. That it got the Oscar, but I don't believe they want to promote what that movie represented. It was a God-fearing family, a man that took him children off of the streets, put them in an industry that they had 0% in odds for them to succeed in it. You with me? And hold up, this just remind me. Joe Jackson and the Jackson family. Look how they destroyed that man's image as a man that is abusive to his children and all that stuff. When Joe Jackson took his children them in a time where America was deeply segregated, divided, and made his children them into something.
Yeah.
You with me?
Not only that, from his loins came children and a talent that would bring all races together.
Elder, if I can just throw something, please.
Well, go ahead, Elder Gabar. Hey, man, listen, it's like we're in the living room right now. Come on, let's talk.
Check this out, Elder. Here we have the opportunity of showing what can happen when you come from, the ghetto, bad neighborhood, and you stick together, and you can get out the ghetto, having the father, mother, and children, and having that strong father figure.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Will Smith, who's playing that character, but in his real life, he is not that male strong figure in his family.
That's what they want to highlight.
That family.
Oh, that's what they wanted to highlight. That he had to
look at
act.
The spirit. What's going on? What's going on here?
All types of chaos is going on in his real family.
And guess what?
But he can only portray portray a nuclear traditional family if he's acting.
And Elder, I have to give a shout out to Denzel Washington, because Denzel Washington told him, when you on top, the devil's gonna come get you.
Man, whoa. Man, you know what? Sometimes we just got to have conversations like this. I kind of like this. All right, let me yeah, but all right. Let me just take a few calls because I know Sunshine is chopping at the bit. She's very patient. We have Charles 407. Shalom.
Shalom.
You're live. You see what's going on while the world is watching Will. And see, I purposely titled it this way because since everybody gonna talk about Will Smith and he's gonna be on every blog out there, you know what? There will be a glitch in the matrix. They don't expect us to get on that wave. So I'm like, you know what? Let me show you what's going on with old Joe. And with the lack of bread and everything else, while everyone is watching Will slap up something. But go ahead, let me hear what you have to say, Charles.
Shalom, Elder Ricard.
Bless you.
You know, this journey has been a long journey. You know, the journey that I've come to this day, I mean, I have been searching and I finally found the home. And when I say a journey, I started off at Church of God in Christ, Seventh-day Adventist. I went to Church of Christ. And, I mean, but I finally found it. And then I got stuck about a year ago. And I found this guy named Ranford Fleming. And he taught us that the Bible was corrupt. And he told us not to go into the Bible, but to get the book called The Besorah of Yahusha. And it cost over $500. I went on and did it.
Okay.
And I got caught up in it. And, of course, they talk about being Hebrew. And my wife, she follows me, of course. And we went to Missouri to one of the camps. But anyway, to get to this place, now I've been at the church here in the Orlando area by the blessing of my neighbor, Brenda. I won't call out her last name, but
okay, praise the Most High.
It's been hard. It's been hard because he wouldn't let us talk about the Apocrypha. He didn't want us to talk about the book of Enoch or Jubilees or Jasher. He said the Besorah is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And, of course, I've been trying my best to find the original because I have been so implemented in it because I was given monies and time and everything. And now when I finally found the truth, it's kind of like I'm fighting because I thought because he talked about the Hebrew, we are the chosen and everything, and I just got so satisfied. But then when I ran across Brenda, wow, that lady knocked me off my feet. She really did. She told me, you need to come to the church. And it's been kind of like, milk, I'm growing, but everything in this life has seemed to be a distraction. I mean, watching television, going to work, going to get gas. But I struggle because I had put me and my wife so into that. We had so much involved in Ranford Fleming. He comes on every day. And now I clicked on him yesterday, and he was calling out my name. He had one of his ministers to call me. And, of course, Brenda said, Charles, you need to leave it alone. And I'm struggling with it because he was actually saying, you need to know that they tampered with the Bible. And he said in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in fact, they gave me scriptures. And the scriptures said that it's in the Bible that Isaiah 61:1, it say the Besorah. Also in Mark 16:15, it's the Besorah. So anyway,
hold up.
New book.
Hold up. Just relax.
Okay.
Relax for a second. And I'm going to let you have it out.
Okay.
Because first and foremost, this guy is studying high witchcraft, as well as cult psychology. Because number one, common sense will tell me that you can't go into my book and use scriptures in my book to discredit my book. That's backwards in of itself.
Mm-hmm.
so
that's all I knew with the Bible.
I'm saying, but brother, it's like this. he go into the Bible to say it was tampered with, and expect you to believe his breakdown or understanding of that precept to discredit the book. So he's not credible.
Yes.
He don't.
Yeah,
He's
and
not
that's what
even.
Brenda told
Let
me.
me tell you, he's not even this in the spirit to understand the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay. Okay.
So number one, your wife is telling you what's right. Because right now it has nothing to do with believing the Bible. It has everything to do with the stronghold, the psychological stronghold he has on you.
Yes. Yes.
So the whole deal
Yes,
is,
you're right.
listen, you don't even got to answer this guy calls. If he call you, you can just let him know, listen, brother, listen, bless you, shalom, do not call me, don't talk to me, don't mention my name, find Christ.
Right. Right.
So
right.
all about
Listen.
But all about claiming that you have been emotionally and invested in knowing it was the truth and all these things. Listen, the Bible tell you that there's no union with light and there's no union darkness has with light.
Right.
So what happens if you decide to be baptized, walk away, join the church, and learn again? What do you lose
That's
by
what we're doing.
Exactly. So you lose nothing at all, right?
Right.
So listen, all you got to do is listen. I'm not asking you to do a Will Smith, okay? Let me make it clear. Hold up. Make it since he's up on here today. Let me make it clear that I'm not stating that you should actually, right, do a Will Smith. But one thing you can say as a man when he went back to his seat was he told what's his name? Chris Tucker? Oh, Chris, what's his name?
Denzel?
No, whoever the guy
Denzel
he
was
slapped,
there.
whatever this guy.
Oh, Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, he went back to his seat and told him, Chris Rock, keep my wife's name out your, I can't say the word, mouth. So at the end of the day, you just tell this brother respectfully in the spirit of Christ, considering thyself lest thou also be tempted. Just let him know just to keep your name out of his mouth. That guess what?
Okay.
Listen, the Most High led you there, and he led you all through your life through different ideologies, and you finally settled on the truth. And you know what? You don't have to convince him you're on the right path. Okay, you don't owe him that. Christ is the porter of the door. Christ is the path. So you don't have to convince him in some debate whether or not you're on the right path.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, me and my wife joined the academy, so we got that started.
All right.
So.
All right.
And we joined the church. We've been to church 3 times, and we're gonna continue. And
good.
I guess the best thing to do is just continue and learn and get the food and put it in me. So that's what we're gonna do.
Well, I
really appreciate you because.
Well, brother, you have to gird up your loins. Gird up your loins. Study the word, and for the first time, build a foundation in Christ according to the word. Because one thing about building that foundation, man can't deceive you. And what you don't want is to go be tossed to and fro, and then you're taking your wife through all these emotional changes, saying this is the truth, that's the truth, that's the truth. So what she's going to begin to realize, she's going to say, well, hold up. The bottom line is, to show she love you, she's willing to go through these ups and downs with you. But all in all, you have to strengthen yourself in the word as a man of the Almighty so that she's following you, not following you, following everyone else.
Right. Well, she was a 7-day Adventist, you know. So, and she actually, that's where I went to, and that was the last place until we went to the Hebrew Ranford Fleming, and that's where we've been for the last.
How long?
That's over. That's over.
How long have you been under Fleming?
Well, I listened to him for years, but we finally started giving thousands of dollars to him in the last year.
And that's why he called. That's why he called out your name. That's why he called out your name. But listen. But I'm saying, how long? How long?
I would say follow him. Well, say a good year. But I've been listening to him for years, but I wasn't paying too much attention to him.
Yeah.
But I said, he said some good stuff about Shalom. No, he didn't say Shalom. He said Shalom and some of the other words. And when I heard Brenda say Shalom, I said, wait a minute, what is that? Because it was new, because I was listening to Shalom and Hallelujah and Yah. That's where I was.
Tell Fleming Shalom and I'll see you on the other side, brother. Peace. I'm being baptized. I'm going to follow the righteous path according to what was established under the disciples. If you're going to try to convince me that the Bible isn't the true book of God, you are of the devil. Period.
Yeah, that's what my neighbor told me.
There he is.
Okay, thank you so much.
There you go. The water. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. All right. Shalom. All right. Last call. Sunshine. I'm going to bring in Sunshine. Hold up. 667 and then Sunshine. Oh, no. There's too much noise there. All right. Ready? Sunshine, you got to jump right in because we're limited time. And you know what? Man, I made some lasagna, elders. And I'm going to tell you, for the first time I did something different, right? I didn't have enough sauce to go on the top of that thing. I layered it up. I mean, one day I'm gonna put a camera on and show y'all what I be doing up in that kitchen, man. But anyway,
well, Elder, if you don't mind, you're making me like a little curious. You did something different.
I did something different.
If you have a little extra, just put a little side for me.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a
Gabar,
Elder Gabar. I'm gonna cut you a piece of this thing.
Okay. Elder,
I mean, it's like lasagna, like manna floated down.
Only if you made enough. If you didn't make, you could. I don't want you to go hungry.
There's enough. I mean, it was like it floated down like manna.
Okay.
Let me tell you something about this, man. I was because sometimes. I put a little extra stuff on it. And instead of ricotta cheese, I use, since I was in the Greek islands and all that, I use feta, which is the most expensive goat type cheese with a little milk, and I blended it in instead of the ricotta. So I don't want that mushy taste, right? Hold up. Let me show you. Let me show you what I did. And I laid that thing down with some extra cheeses I'm not going to tell you about, but I made a special sauce. But before I do anything, I take a little olive oil, put it in there. And I take the onions and a little garlic and saute that thing up with grass-fed beef. And I put a little sauce, my own seasons in it, right, to layer that thing. Now, I take a little bit of the sauce and put it on the top so that my layer can be nice and so it don't have that rubbery taste for the lasagna at the top. Organic lasagna too.
90 seconds.
Check out what I did. I was all out of sauce, and there was a little jar, Elder Lawyer, of pizza sauce. And I'm like, this is all I got. So what I did was all the little scrapings that was in the bottom of the pan, I put the pizza sauce in there and stirred that thing up with all the juices that was left because I was out of sauce and meat. And I layered that thing at the top of the lasagna and threw
60 seconds.
And threw that thing in for 45 minutes. Gabar, if you want to come grab some tonight, you can get it, man. I'm going to tell you, it have to be. And I made a salad with my own type of dressing with a little honey, lemon, Italian seasons, vinaigrette.
That sounds so, that sounds so good.
Whip that thing up. Let me tell you.
Listen, that sounds so good that, I'm 49 years old. I never cooked in my life. You want to make me want to like learn how to cook now.
Gabar, let me tell you, it's manna.
I'm going to cooking school tomorrow. That's how good that sounds.
Let me tell you.
I want to be able to do that.
Man, let me tell you, man. And then we had the little pesto sauce on the side.
10 seconds.
I split open a roll and put a little churned butter unsalted with some garlic, some salt, and some oregano, and I toasted that bun right there with it. And I had the honey lemon sauce to go to the salad.
My wife is gonna be looking at me like, "Who? So you mean Elder requires you to cook, and I didn't?"
Man, I'm ready. Man, listen, it's on. As soon as this thing is over, I'm gonna let Sunshine do her thing, and then I'm going back for seconds. Let me tell you something. Lord have mercy. All right, Sunshine, shoot.
Hi, Elders.
How you doing?
Sunshine? How we doing?
All praises to the Most High. That sounds delicious.
Oh yeah.
Shalom. Hi.
It was some regular organic pizza sauce and a little thing, and I poured that thing over there. I'm like, yo, this is a new vibration. But talk to me. Praise the Most High.
Elder. Oh yes. Praise the Most High. Shalom.
Come on, let's go.
Elders. Oh wow, this topic. It is a major topic, and it's an emblem of exactly how they have herded us. The masses from left to right and presently upside down. And it's also a reason why Christ said in navigating this very wicked world that by grace we can now see that we must be wise as serpents yet harmless as doves. And when we are told to look at this or instead of that, many of us do in droves follow. And it's the same thing that happens cyclically. It's like the 2020 medical campaign we were told to be a part of by mass media coercions in droves that we most followed. And we are now mentally, some of us, those who decided to go down that road, and physically breaking because of the choice to follow that coercion. And when we were told to breathe again, maskless, the world let out a sigh of relief in hopes of getting back to normal, as if the media is the world's God. And now we are made to look at the announcement that grown black kings are a fantasy and should instead either be slapped around by not only their own brothers, but anyone who feels to do so, male or female, among nations, making the king's theme to the world as further accessible in this world to be demeaned or taken down without any pushback, and as hyper-emotional or rather than strong, or these same kings can be so-called legally imprisoned in abundance without pushback as well. So to slap it, it's like a symbolism for what the controllers are proclaiming our level of power in our hands would be once the grievous oppressions they have in store for us comes to the full sight and in full experience. They have nursed this climate of depravity, and many, and we are constantly inundated with feelings of illnesses, death, scarcity, and no hope. And they have reduced the local police task force and perfectly healthy people dependent on this medical complex, and created more and more social dependencies encouraged by lower motivation to take wages over stimulus checks, and created fluidity that confuses the basic understanding between what makes a man, woman, or child, and what determines legal access for how men, women, and children or slaves of Babylon are used and abused. And they're changing true freedom by obedience to the Most High to false freedom by looseness to the do as thou wilt mentality. And all this is happening, this nursing of this frantic confusion and frenzy, while there's actual wars and rumors of wars between nations or races, kingdoms and countries and realms. But despite the fiery darts that they continue to put forward, we can see that the fallen and those who work for them in conspiracies against us throwing those darts are where we know that the foolishness and the foolish rulers over us, that that is leading countless of the people in a lost delusional state to that wide road to hell is inevitably coming to an end.
Wrap it
And
up.
Babylon, like you
Wrap
said,
it
Elder, is
up,
falling.
Sunshine. Wrap it up.
Okay. And the entire world and the ability to hide themselves, that's fallen apart at the seams. So with every attack that they savagely put towards us and against us, to include all the wicked attacks from inside out of our communities in that liberalism and feminism and calling good evil and evil good, all of that is just not going to go against the elect men of Israel, who are stubborn against the wickedness, and they're stubborn for the truth and upholding it and not going towards that sunken world of the dead, burying the dead. So no matter what they do, Babylon and all that follow are going to fall and fall hard. And so Kwam Yasharallah, praise the Most High. Kwam Yasharallah. Oh, praise the Most High.
Kwam
That's all I
Yasharallah.
wanted to say, Elder.
Hey, I'm glad.
Kwam Yasharallah.
There she is. There she is. Hey.
Praise the Most High.
Hey, let me tell you, you did a great job. I know you wrote all that down, but I was about 2 minutes away from, I was about to do the Showtime with the Apollo. Sandman was coming through. So I'm glad you was able to wrap it up. Y'all heard the music. All right, bless you. Oh, thanks again. Oh yeah, you about to hear some. Hey, I was about to bring the old Showtime Apollo thing happening. But anyway, elders, what a great broadcast. I kind of like this type of setup where we can have like living room type talk. You understand, and so that brothers and sisters can just hear how we can just conversate, just to reason one amongst another, and to bring some type of levity and understanding from different perspectives. But what a great broadcast tonight, elders. I'd like to thank you all for carving out your night to participate. It was nice bringing forth the truth. And you know what? It was kind of fun tonight, right?
Yeah, well, let's do it again next week,
Oh yeah.
It's a Zoom party.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Oh yeah. This was
Goodbye.
nice. I like the setup, how it looks, and the different perspectives, and bringing the scriptures, but still, you understand, bringing the scriptures, but still being able to deal on a layman's level when it comes to current events, what's going on in the world. And I think that's one thing about the Most High bless us with this church, where we're not just boxed into one demographic when it comes to just teaching the word, that we can discuss on things on with everyday topics, to actually do what? Bring people right back around to the knowledge and understanding and the obedience of Christ. Right? With that, I'm going to say shalom. Bless you, elders. You have a great night. You know what I'm about to do with that lasagna? May the Most High be with you all. I'm going to call you later, elders. Don't worry about it. The great as usual.
Elder Gadja, I'll give you a call after the show, okay?
Hey, you heard him, Gadja?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. Stay.
Hey, Ella,
Go ahead, talk to me. Come on. I'm listening.
Check that video I sent you. Don't
okay, text it to me. You text it to me?
Yeah. It's on the Skype.
All right. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna whip up that lasagna and have a nice laugh. I can imagine. All right. With that, I'm gonna say, may the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. We will soon see Zion. Bless you. Watch out.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
Brothers and sisters, keep in mind the Most High is calling back Israel. Y'all stay prayed up. Sin not. That's right. We will soon see Israel. Oh.
where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulun from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us. A good point. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A high gatherer. Asher in Colombia. Reuben from Australia. Issachar, the Mexicans. A highest gathering Israel. Judah, the Negroes. Benjamin, the West Indians. Levi, the Haitians. A highest gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulun from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering is